I'm tired of waking up tired. Waking up tired. Yeah, waking up tired. Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress, guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Jason Gregor Show. On Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Stick exploded on Rasmus Anderson. Bouchard, little give and go, try settle. One extra pass to McDavid, and the Oilers didn't get anything out of it. But then the puck got caught with the stick. What break for Edmonton?
Magnificent Monday afternoon. How you doing? Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Hope you are having an awesome Monday. Oiler fans, you got to win. That will relax Oilers Nation a little bit, I would assume, because, hey, the Oilers, they needed a win. They got it against Vegas, a team that they beat Vegas, I'm going to say for fun, but they have now won 8 of their last 9 games against the Vegas Golden Knights. And if they're going to meet them in the playoffs, that's a good stat to have. Also, of course, beat them last year in the playoffs. 4 out of 5 games, including shutting them out twice. So it is the Gregor Show, is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get involved. You can use the Gregor Show odds boost. We got some different odds boosts for lots of the games. You have a day to get your tickets for Lotto Max. 25 million up for grabs at PlayAlberta.ca. It's just after 2 o'clock coming up. We got a loaded show for you. Kevin Woodley is going to join us in the first hour, talking goaltending. Colorado, pretty good goaltending. So we'll touch on that. No goalies removed at the deadline. She would be shocked by that. I know people are like, wow, the Oilers should have went after Bobrovsky. Why would Florida take Tristan Jarry? Just answer the question. Everyone's like, Edmonton should have done it. You need another partner. Why would Florida take Tristan Jarry? You all say he sucks, and you think they're going to take him for this year and 2 more years? Why would they do that? Well, you're going to throw in a draft pick. Really? They're just going to eat $5.375 million. Okay? The trade has not worked out yet for the Edmonton Oilers. And the only way they're going to fix it is they hope that better team defense will maybe help get him some confidence. He's got to play better on his own, right? Like, there's no team defense that never gives up any good chances. You need your goalie to make some saves. So it'll be a work in progress, but I think it's wishful thinking to think they would have traded Bobrovsky, who's a pending UFA, because they're like, well, maybe we won't re-sign him, to take Tristan Jarry. That was never happened, ever. We'll talk a little Condors, get the update from the farm with Ryan Holt. We got Jason Strudwick. Dan Dunleavy will join us, the Buffalo freaking Sabres, boys and girls. They are rolling. And huge game yesterday. Maybe you watched it. Maybe you saw the highlights. You can't see the highlights at NHL.com because God forbid, on their own website, they promoted the most entertaining game of the season. It's wild to me. Right? No one got hurt in the fights. Why wouldn't you have that in there? I don't understand it. It's part of your game. Why is it never inside the highlight packages on the recap of the games? I don't get it. Like, you're missing a real good part of the story of that game. It was a wild game, too. They're up 3-0. You think they're going to blow them out. Then Tampa Bay storms back, and now Tampa Bay has the lead, and you're thinking, you know what? That young Buffalo team, they're just not there yet. And then the Sabres like, wait a sec, and they bounce back with 3 straight goals and win 8-7. Wild game. Edmonton Oilers, the late game yesterday, which was a good day of hockey, but it wraps up with Vegas and the Oilers and 2 teams that needed a win. And the Oilers, they got the win. Edmonton, I thought, played really well. They didn't get rewarded early for a lot of their good chances. Kapanen ripped one off the post, beat the goalie cleanly. Bouchard rings one off the bar. The Oilers had some good chances, didn't score early. Then they did score. It was Trent Frederic right in front. Trent Frederic now 2 goals in 6 games since returning from the Olympic break. It looks like a completely different player. Now, I'm not expecting to score 2 goals every 6 games, right? That would be great. But, then he's going to be a 27-goal scorer. I don't think that's realistic. But you look at how many, I just watched the other elements of his game. Look at how many battles he's winning all of a sudden. Big, strong guy. I guess now they get the puck more. He's got some confidence. He's banging home pucks right in front of the net where he should be. And that's what he's done. And I get it that Oilers fans were upset because he really, up until the Olympic break, you hadn't seen a consistent stretch of games by Trent Frederic. But these 6 games have easily been his best 6 consecutive games since joining the Oilers last year. It's taken some time, longer than you would have liked. I understand it. But we can only evaluate a player on what he's done recently. And Trent Frederic, now he's a productive player. He's adding something. He's getting a little bit more ice time. And because he's earning it, right? Like, it's a fine line. You got to earn it. That being said, I'd like Doc to get a little bit more, a few more minutes. Like, there's no reason in the first period that he's playing 1 minute and 2 seconds. Like, I'm sorry. You got to find a way to get him some more ice time. So I would think that we'll see that happen. His first game, just fine. And they were on the ice, I know, for a few goals against that. The Ehlers shot from the point, there's no defensive breakdown. It goes in off of Nurse. The wingers did nothing wrong. Right? I know then they scored after the empty net goal. They scored another one. So it looks terrible on the stat sheet. Doc's a younger player. You do probably have to gain the trust of your coach. I get it. But I've liked what he brings. What I've liked is in limited minutes, which is what I wrote coming out of the Olympic break, because everybody's like, the bottom guy's got to play way more. No, they don't have to play way more. They just have to make something happen in the minutes they're playing. And now I'd like Doc to play more than 5 minutes. I think if he can get to around 9 to 11, all right, 11 probably being, in games that, the Oilers are comfortably in it, because he doesn't kill penalties and isn't on the power play. It's going to be hard for him. Like, any suggestion of him playing 12 minutes is just, it's ridiculous. It's not sane. They're not going to run line 1 and line 4 similar minutes. Okay. Because if he's getting 12, that means your top line's getting 12. That's never happening, right? It's just not happening. So I look at, because if you look at teams right now at how much 5-on-5 play there is per game, the Oilers are just on, they're actually have the second most 5-on-5 minutes. It's about 49 minutes. So if you divide that by 12, right, that's 4. Each line gets 12 minutes. That would leave 1 minute and 54 seconds. So your fourth line's going to get 12 minutes, and then your top line's going to get 13, and your second line's going to get 13. Like, that's not going to happen. We have to be realistic here. So I think if you could get 9 minutes, right? The odd game, maybe more, depending, right? Maybe there's a game where you don't have a ton of power plays or penalty kill. Okay. But when you're not on the penalty kill or the power play, you just have to look at it realistically in how many minutes you can have, right? Like the Florida Panthers, they have the fewest amount of 5-on-5 minutes per game at 46. So if your bottom six guys don't kill penalties in Florida, it's hard to get minutes. Just is. So, Doc's a young guy. I don't see him on the penalty kill anytime soon. So he's going to have to get his minutes, and he's going to have to make an impact 5-on-5. And it's very hard to do. I have a ton of respect for players who can make an impact in limited minutes. And that's what Florida's fourth line has done the last 2 years in the Cup final. Right now, their center, which would be Adam Henrique here, he killed penalties. Their center in Florida killed penalties. Stenlin, the 1 year. And then Boquist, the other one. No, not Boquist. What's his name? Starts with an N. I'm forgetting. Anyway, he got around 10 or 11 because he was on the penalty kill. But Greer, Gadjevich, and other guys, they played 1 year. They averaged 750. The other year, they averaged 820 in the playoffs. So that's just how it is. And you noticed him, right? I think Doc has the potential to do that. So that's a good sign. Other things, Vasily Podkolzin, we'll get into him. He's having a career year. He's up to 15 goals now. That's a new career high. They're all at 5-on-5. He's tied with Mikko Rantanen and Kirill Marchenko for 37th most goals 5-on-5. He's one back of McDavid and Draisaitl. He's one of only 5 players in the NHL who have scored 15 goals 5-on-5 and have an AAV of 1 million or less. And the others are all in their entry-level deal. Cutter Gauthier, Macklin Celebrini, Beckett Seneca, and Oliver Kapanen. And then Vasily Podkolzin. He right now is one of the best values for your dog. Because those guys all have bonuses. So, that will count against the team next year. Doesn't count this year. It's the weird part of hitting your bonuses. But he's one of the best value contracts in the NHL. And he's already signed to a 3-year extension at 2.9 for the next 3 years. It's a really good contract. And I went and looked, like if I asked Oiler fans, who do you think Podkolzin's game is similar to? If it was on the Oilers, you'd say, yeah, maybe Zach Hyman. Now, Podkolzin's a lefty, Hyman's a righty. But they both skate pretty well in straight lines. They're good on the boards. They're relentless workers, right? Like work ethic is something you never have to worry about from Hyman or Podkolzin. Now, I looked at Zach Hyman because Podkolzin's 24. In Zach Hyman's 24-year-old season, that was his first full season in the NHL. He had played the year before, split between the AHL and the NHL, but it was his first full year at 24. He scored 10 goals, 6 at 5-on-5. Then the next few years, he had 14, 12, 13 goals, 5-on-5, ended up with 15, 21, 21 because he got a little bit of power play time. Up until he was 20, that's 25, 26, 27. Now, you look at Podkolzin, where he's at now, potentially where he could go. Now, I don't know if he's ever going to get to 54. 54 is a real high number. It's a real hard number to get. But could Podkolzin become a right now? And keep in mind, Zach Hyman has only scored 20 goals 5-on-5 in a season once. That's when he had 36. It was his unreal year, right? Like everything is clicking. It's hard to score 20 goals 5-on-5. Podkolzin could be an 18 to 21 goal scorer 5-on-5. Could he, down the road, potentially replace Hyman as the net front presence on the power play? Similar game, a lefty instead of a righty, right? So there'd be certain plays that have to work from the other side of the net, which is fine. It's something to consider for Podkolzin. He was a 10th overall pick, right? There was a reason why he went that high. There was people saw things in his game. And I just look at Podkolzin, and like that goal last night, that was all him. Hurdle wins the faceoff. Podkolzin jumps on it. Great reaction. Gets the puck before it goes to defense and then just splits the D, beats him right up the middle. Scores. Hell of a goal. And he's tough. He fought the other day against Ottawa. Could hold his own. He's good along the boards. Like he's very similar to Zach Hyman. But early in his career, he's had more success. Now, that doesn't guarantee that it's an automatic upwards escalator and he'll get to being 36 and 50 goal scorer. Right? It's hard to do. If he could become a 30-goal scorer, that'd be amazing. But when you look at his contract over the next few years, he's going to be one of the best value contracts already. That trade by Stan Bowman. Some of you remember the day, maybe you don't. August 18th, 2024. That trade is a massive, massive deal for the Edmonton Oilers. And you know what's funny about the trade? So at the time, the Oilers traded away what was the 100 and turned out to be the pick that they had gotten from Ottawa in the Yarventi trade. So they traded that pick to Vancouver. The Oilers actually got the pick back when they traded Evander, that exact same pick, when they traded Evander Kane to Vancouver. So it's kind of like, well, we got Podkolzin, and then we had a year of Kane, then we gave Kane away, and we got the pick back. It's a pretty damn good trade. And I'm kind of curious, like if you look at Podkolzin this year right now of Hyman, their goals for per 60. Zach Hyman, 1.03. Podkolzin, 1.01. Assists for per 60. Zach Hyman, 0.86. Podkolzin, 0.87. Points per 60, 5-on-5. Hyman, 1.89. Podkolzin, 1.88. Can't get much closer. You can't get much closer than that. So now Hyman does play about 2 more minutes, 5-on-5 right now than Podkolzin. But you watch over the years that we'll kind of see, I think, a changing of the guard internally just occur between those two. Now it's a righty and a lefty. I understand that. But Oiler fans should be just giddy about Podkolzin. And he's physical. He's a relentless forechecker. He's reliable defensively. A lot of positives. We got a few texts coming in, 833-401-1440. Nosek. Yeah, that's his name. I knew it. Forgot for brain fart there for a sec. Thanks, Juice. He was the fourth line center I was talking about in Florida last year. Hey, Gregor, what do you make of the situation with Jari? They said that he got in a fight at practice. Well, I didn't see any fight at practice. They didn't practice today. So when did that happen? I don't recall a fight at all between Jari and anybody at practice. So I don't know if maybe you misheard or something there. There was, he was fighting the puck. And someone said, hey, you got to be better. Now, maybe it's a verbal bleep you, whatever. That happens in hockey all the time in competitive markets. That I have no issue with. I look at Tristan Jarry, and Tristan Jarry has to play better, full stop. Does the team in front of him need to play better? Yes. But you have to control what you can control first as a goalie, and that's your own game. So focus on that. And then if the team plays better in front of you, it should, in theory, make your job easier. I totally agree. Right? But I look at Jari, and he's got to play better. I know the team in front of him has to play better, but you got to stop the shots that are savable first. If your team has a breakdown or gives up a great high danger chance and you don't save it, okay, fine. But when you have savable shots, that's your job. So focus on your job. Right? Like if you're the penalty killing defenseman and the forward doesn't get in his lane all the time and it's hurting you, do you run out of position and try to block the shot? No. So it's hard. I get it, but you can't worry about what the other guys are doing. I know for the goalie position, when you have a more predictable environment, it's easier. We all understand that. And the Oilers will have to play better. But I think people are forgetting that from December 1st until January 23rd, the Oilers had the third best goals against average in the NHL. All right, now Jari had a few good games in there, but he also had a few stinkers. So he can play better. No question in my mind. He can play better. And you know what? If he's getting in a verbal spat with one of his teammates, great. Show some competition. I have no problem with that. Right? When you're in a professional sporting environment and you've got lots of internal competitiveness, guess what? Every now and then we've seen guys get into fist fights, seen guys get into, bleep you fights. It happens. To me, that's actually a good thing. It's showing someone saying, hey, man, we expect, because rarely are you going to go after a teammate that you don't feel is capable of something. Right? Like, no one's going to, McDavid wouldn't go after the forward. You got to score more. Right? That's not what he's going to argue over. Right? If the guy wasn't working hard, he'd probably call him out on it. So, if there was a verbal disagreement, I have no problem with it. I think it's great. Coming up, Kevin Woodley will join us. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our number one selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the AT4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
With the lead up to the playoffs underway, players are definitely stepping up their game.
And the fans are doing the same. Simple snacks like chips and dip may work at the front half of the season, but now more and more fans are rocking the Wilhauk beef jerky for game time get-togethers.
Just make sure you bring enough for everyone if you want to be invited back for the playoffs.
Make your next hockey game day a Will Hockey game day with Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win games with salad.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit FountainTire.com today.
Edmonton's go-to station for all things sports is Sports 1440.
From Low Tide to Kevin Carrius and Jason Gregor, we deliver the latest on your favorite teams.
Tune in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week
to Sports 1440.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Whether it's a house, a gas station, an apartment complex, or any new building going up above ground, the work always starts below ground. And that's where you'll find GS Construction. GS Construction ensures the first step, relocating utilities, installing new ones, and building the underground systems, is taken to make progress possible. But the work can't start without you. GS Construction is currently on the lookout for experienced top men, pipe layers, and operators. To apply, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Oodle Noodle origins. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and I am a used RV salesman. But just because I love being a used RV salesman doesn't mean you would like doing my job all day long.
If you're selling your RV privately, that means that you have to be an RV salesman too.
That's right, Bob, and there's a lot of work involved. You have to find the customers, be ready to show it at a time and place that's convenient for the other guy, all the stuff you take for granted when you come to No Bull.
There's not a lot of glamour in being a used RV salesman, Rick.
I don't do it for the glamour, Bob. I love helping people enjoy the great outdoors on their terms. It's my life's work, but it doesn't have to be yours. When you sell your quality used RV with us, we take care of everything. Cleaning, repairs, commercials like this one to bring people in, and besides, I like being a used RV salesman a lot more than you do.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, oodle, noodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, 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 oodle, noodle, nood, oodle, nood, oodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, oodle, noodle, nood. Noodle, noodle, nood, 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 oodle, noodle, nood. Promo down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
.225. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Hope you are having a lovely Monday afternoon. Maybe you did a little trenching over the weekend, as got a lot of melt happening. So don't want the water backing up everywhere. So I know I remember it was it's kind of a weird thing, but man, I used to trench all the time out the farm. Loved it. And so now it was a lot easier than chipping away on the streets to try to get all the water run away from the house. But spent a few hours doing it yesterday. And for the most part, I'd say success, not complete success, but much better. So hopefully maybe you had fun doing the same thing. The Gregor Show is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Let's get to our big guest of the day. Brought to you by Silent Ice Center, which is the state-of-the-art facility just south of Edmonton. Of course, home for hockey, curling, concerts, and the Summit Restaurant. Check it out. Silent Ice Centers. Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine, NHL.com. Joined us. Woodley, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm coming to you from you'll hear a lot of pucks in the background and a bit of a weird background for me. I'm actually at the old home of the Vancouver Canucks, now the home of the Vancouver Golden Knights, watching the Boston Fleet practice here. So hoping to catch up with USA's gold medal winning exceptional goalie Aaron Frankel after covering Canucks and Senators morning skate. It's a day at the rinks for me, but I was glad I was able to hop on with you today too.
All right, so let's get into a few things. The Oilers are taking on the Avs tomorrow. Best 5-on-5 save percentage in the National Hockey League belongs to the Colorado Avalanche. You look at their overall as a team, their goalies are pretty darn good when it comes to goals saved above expected, which is obviously a pretty good stat to have for your team. I think only Sorokin and the Islanders are better as a team. The Avs, I think, are second best. When you look at if there was a way to attack their goalies better, is there a way, like for Edmonton? Is it off the rush? Is it crossing passes? Is it down below the goal line? How do you attack?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. It's Scott Wedgwood, and do you know who it is tonight? Because they're very different goalies, and that's one of the things that you get out of the Colorado Avalanche is different looks depending on which guys. Mackenzie Blackwood, very much a station to station, plays a little deep, just beat passes and use his size, and he's got a reactive game, whereas Wedgwood's going to get out around the edges of his crease, a lot more movement, a lot of more reactive sort of foundation to his game. So in some ways, and I do wonder, there's a few teams that sort of fit this bill going into the playoffs, and I've had a conversation with a couple goalie coaches on those teams where it's like the difference between their two is such that you'd actually have to change your scouting report. And if, could you in theory switch things up in the middle of a playoff series just to make things that much more complicated? And I would definitely attack them differently based on which one is in net. For Blackwood to get to the middle of the ice, try and take advantage of his deeper positioning by sort of painting around the edges of the net with your shot. For Scott Wedgwood, it'd be more see if you passing around him is a bit of an overstatement. He doesn't play to that big an extreme, but certainly there's a chance to move the puck east-west more on a goaltender who's going to have to travel further because of his initial depth, especially when you juxtapose that to Mackenzie Blackwood. So very much depends on who you get and what that scouting report looks like.
Well, Mackenzie Blackwood, of course, his last start was against Dallas on Friday, and he got pulled after allowing 4 goals on 11 shots. And then Wedgwood came in and only faced 10 shots in 40 minutes. And then he played yesterday against Minnesota and allowed 2 goals on 32. So I would guess maybe it's going to go back to. I'm trying to look the last time Scott Wedgwood made 2 consecutive starts.
It's probably when Blackwood was out. Yeah,
to the 19th, way in late January. So I'm going to guess they're probably going to go back to Mackenzie Blackwood in this one. So listening to you, it's the orders. You got to be a little bit maybe more patient with how you approach him.
Yeah, I mean, just get to the middle, like get to the middle of the ice. He moves really well in and off his post. Like a lot of times you'll hear me talk about trying to attack guys off dead angles and make them move off. So for a guy like Wedgwood, if you're moving it low, high and making him work off his post, it doesn't allow him to get to the top of the crease. With a guy like Blackwood, he's so comfortable being further back anyways. That's not necessarily the same recipe for him. It's, again, it reminds me a little bit of Aiden Hill. They're not the same goalie strength and weakness wise, but tendency, in terms of tendencies, and we've talked in the past with Hill about getting to the middle of the ice. I think you're trying to do the same things with Mackenzie Blackwood. See if you can get, even if it's higher in the zone, Jason, even if it's between the top of the circles, on a power play, make sure your defensemen are sort of walking that puck into the middle and trying to create chances from there. Again, take advantage of the fact that for him, watch tonight, even getting to the top of his crease is not something that he does a whole lot unless it's a, one-on-one straight read situation. He's just a lot more passive positionally. And, it doesn't mean you stop trying to create east-west offense and all those dynamic types of things. Those are just good quality scoring chances. But understand that because of his initial position, he's going to get across on most of them. So you're probably not beating him along the ice. You've probably got to make sure you bury in the upper half of the net, even if you create that dynamic type of scoring play.
Looking at the fact that no goalies were traded around the deadline, which isn't a real big shock to me. There was people thought Bobrovsky was available. He makes $10 million, so it's pretty hard to bring in $5 million. And then there's Binnington, and he had a trade list and didn't want to go to some Canadian teams and stuff like that, Kev. So we look now, and you've got teams that are solidified. Everybody knows who their goalies are, barring injury, of course, down the stretch. I got 2 interesting teams I want to ask you about. Okay. The Ottawa Senators, who literally you cannot blame team defense for the Ottawa Senator woes of their goaltending. It's been brutal, but their goalies have started to play better. Allmark's played better. He had that month off. Since coming back, his numbers are actually pretty good. And then there's Carolina. They don't even have a save percentage. And I know save percentage isn't the only stat to look at for goaltenders, but what do you make of those 2 teams and those 2 goalie situations?
I think there's something in the water numbers wise, and talking to the goalies, because we had both come through town here, and I talked to people on staff as well as the goalies themselves, and just spent a little bit of time with Linus Allmark yesterday on their off day. And it'll be James Reimer tonight as they close out the 5-game trip, his first start in 6. His number's not as good as Linus of late, but again, talking to him, very similar. You're right. They have good defense. They don't give up a ton. Quantity wise, they don't give up a lot. When they do give up chances, Carolina, even more so than Ottawa, it's quality. And this is the challenge. And I'm not saying the defense is bad. I'm saying the challenge is very unique for the goaltenders. It is sit around, watch your team spend a whole bunch of time in the other end. And then when you do get a chance, we saw with Brandon Bussey when he was here in Vancouver. I think the shots through the first half of the first period were 12-1. And then when he starts to see chances, it's off a rush, off a turnover. It's rush offense that the other team's creating. And so it's a tough one for me to sort of, I don't know what the answer is. Because quite often neither do the goalies. And I remember having this conversation with Bill Peters when he was the coach of the Carolina Hurricanes. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, just let more shots through? Like, their mantra is to block all the stuff on the outside, to not let anything get through to the net. And they don't really, I get it. But the reality is a lot of that stuff from the outside, as much as teams don't do it as often in general, that's the stuff your goalie feels good with, helps them get into the game. And you just don't have that opportunity. I go back to a guy I think should be in the Hall of Fame in Curtis Joseph. Give him 70 shots and he might be the best goalie in the world. Give him 20 and ask him behind a team that's expected to win to produce the same results. And it was just a real struggle when he went to Detroit. And I think Carolina and Ottawa, to a slightly lesser degree, are the same style of team. Got a great defense. They defend really well, though Ottawa's going to be without Jake Sanderson for a couple of weeks here, week to week with an upper body injury after leaving the game in Seattle. They control play. They create a lot at the other end. And so you sit there and you watch the other goalie, and then all of a sudden you've got to face a 2-on-1 or a grade A chance. And it's just not everybody's cut out for it. It's a challenge mentally. It's just again, I don't know the answer. It's funny because I'm going to talk to Aaron Frankel here. I talked to the Canadian goaltenders on the women's side recently about this as well, because those are teams where when they go into the international stage, they dominate and they don't see a lot of chances. So what do they do to stay engaged in games? What do they do to make sure their mind doesn't wander, that they're not thinking about the fact the guy at the other end's, or in their case, the woman at the other end's standing on their head and you haven't done anything? Because you can start to play games in your mind like, oh man, I better stop the next one. They're playing great down at the other end. And it's a really difficult challenge mentally. I'm not pretending that they're bad defensive teams. I'm just telling you the challenge is different. We've seen it year over year. Not every goalie handles it. The way Brandon Bussey has handled it this year, I think, is one of the things that go overlooked. We talked about Binnington with Canada. Did the same thing at the Olympics. So it's not that it's impossible. I don't even know it's hard, like physically, but it is mentally. And not everybody handles it. And I was looking at the same thing as you. I looked at Ottawa and I'm like, the defense is great. The goalie numbers are all underwater. What's going on here? And talking to them, I think that's part of it. It's an adjustment. It's a different challenge. It's not something that they're used to and they're having to sort of get used to it in a hurry.
Well, but they've had all year, and suddenly, as I mentioned earlier, Allmark's been better since coming back from the month.
And I think that in that case, you're talking about some unique challenges. When we talk about that pressure, maybe that was part of some of those unique challenges. Listen, it's the biggest thing with difference between Ottawa and Carolina. Like, Carolina is to the extreme. Freddie Anderson, Pyotr Kochetkov, Brandon Bussey, their expected save percentages are all in the bottom 10 of the league. They've got 3 of the 10 hardest environments in the National Hockey League. So again, not a lot of quantity, but they do see a lot of quality. The quality in Ottawa isn't quite to the same degree. They're a little closer to, sort of league averages when it comes to expected save percentage. But again, it doesn't mean the mental challenge isn't different. And as you said, Linus Ullmark's been great lately, but maybe that's part of the adjustment. And for him, it's unique because he missed so much time as well. Well, where he's not in there trying to make that adjustment and get comfortable with that.
So interesting. So you mentioned that Bussey, Anderson, and Kochetkov. Now Kochetkov's only started 8 games, but they have 3 of the top 10 hardest environments. So is that suggesting like Carolina gives up a ton of really good chances?
No, it's save percentage. That's the beauty of using expected save percentage rather than goals saved above expected. They don't give up a ton, Jason, but they don't give up many easy ones. So I'll give you the perfect example was the other night in Seattle. Before they came to Vancouver, they played in Seattle. They outshot the Kraken 35-15 and lost 2-1. And if you look at the shot clock, you're like, oh, wow, like Joey Decourt stood on its head And Carolina's goalies weren't that good. Like Freddie Anderson gave up 2 goals on 15 shots. That's not good enough, especially when the other guy's making 34 saves. Expected goals in that game were 1.84 to 1.78. Out of the 15 chances, Seattle had 5 high danger chances. Out of the 35 chances that Carolina generated, only 3 were high danger. That's what makes it unique. So Carolina, a higher percentage of the chances they do give up are high danger chances. So you don't get to pad your stats. You don't get to feel good on the low danger stuff. They don't give up a lot of that. They don't give up quantity. But when they give up chances, it's quality. And oftentimes it's after watching the play at the other end of the rink for 10 minutes. And that is a difficult challenge mentally for a goaltender. You also can't get caught up in your own stats. Like they have 3 of, and it's actually 3 of the 9 hardest. So by expected save percentage, 3 of the 9 lowest expected save percentages in the National Hockey League belong to the Carolina Hurricanes. And that, I think, is part of the unique challenge of playing goal there. Even when you do it well, and Brandon Bussey, a little bit of a wobble lately, but up until that point, was doing at a top 5 adjusted save percentage in the league. Most people can't tell. They look at a 906 and they're like, oh, he's been good. 906 is good. But, like, he's actually top 5 in the league. But it's hard to tell because, again, he's not getting those nights where he sees 35 chances and 25 of them are low danger. He's getting 15 shots and a third of them are high danger. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes total sense. So it's basically it's quantity over quality. They don't give up a ton, but when they do, they give up a fair amount. So it's interesting. So they have 3 of the lowest 9 expected save percentages in the NHL, which is it's kind of wild.
Which I equate to the toughest environments. So 3 of the 9 toughest environments are Carolina goalies, and that's when you see a trend like that. That's when you know this isn't just a one-off for one guy. You're sort of seeing it, compared around the league. All 3 guys facing the same type of things.
Okay. What about the Calgary Flames? What do you make of Cooley and his development this season? How much is on them? Because he was in other organizations and didn't really play. Is this just a guy coming of age, or are they doing something special with him?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. And I just I honestly I think they're one of the models, right? Like I think they should be. I don't know that they get held up as much. Like if you look at some of the guys they found over the years, sort of out of nowhere. And I even think of David Rich, who's had a pretty good career. Maybe didn't quite get to the heights of his early success in Calgary, but when you look at him sort of as a European free agent signing and starting there, they've done a real Dustin Wolf as a 7th round pick almost didn't get picked in that draft, right? Like they do a nice job of identifying guys and then developing. And I look at the model they have, Jordan Sigalet at the top as a director of goaltending, moved him into that role early, one of the first teams to do it. They've got Jason LaBarbera in the NHL and Mackenzie Skapski in the American League, although I don't know for how much longer. I can't believe nobody hired him last year based on the success he had with Wolf and now the success he's having with Cooley making that transition up. And the thing I love about what they do is Jordan is really good at sort of finding those projects, identifying raw talent that he thinks can translate, especially when they apply their system. Skapski is really good at getting the buy-in in the minor leagues, and then they're all on the same page. So when they do graduate up to Jason LaBarbera, they're speaking the same language, the same goalie terminology, and they're preaching the same things. Maybe there's some adjustments here and there, depending on how the teams defend differently and what you need, but everybody is on the same page. And when we talk about how good has Devin Cooley been this year, he's 3rd by ClearSight Analytics numbers in goals saved above expected. And think of how little he's played. It's Sorokin, Thompson, and Cooley, 1, 2, 3. And Cooley has played less than half of what those other guys have. Like what he's doing in a small sample. And again, I'd like to see them increase the sample down the stretch, give him more chance to get comfortable and experience in the NHL so that he can carry it over next year. What he's doing is remarkable. He's only behind Ilya Sorokin on adjusted save percentage for the year when you use that stat. There's a skill set there. It was late to develop. They have added the pieces and a formula, a plan, a game plan, playing deeper in his net that has allowed him to take his game to another level. He moves as a massive goaltender almost as dynamically and explosively as Wolf. The problem was it was never contained before. And so now that they put that plan in place, just what a great example, of taking an asset that didn't cost you much in the minor leagues and a 2-year process to give yourself a guy who looks like he might be a steady NHL goaltender and maybe even have number one upside for years to come on a real bargain ticket.
Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com joins us. Last one, Kevin, I know like we talked about the order goalies last week. So from week to week, you know, the numbers aren't going to change that much. I know when it comes to Tristan Jarry, he's got to play better. I get the system in front of him has to be better, sure. But he needs to be better himself. And, you know, confidence is a big thing for any goalie. How do you think you can help restore his confidence if you're Aubrey?
This is the tough part here, because Tristan plays a game with a lot of flow. Like I was watching video, and the number of times where he's not totally set and the puck ends up, whether it's a rebound or going in, because he's not just totally set. There's a little bit of movement, and there is a little bit of flow to his game. And there's a tendency at times to little details, like when he moves east-west, he drops his hand, right? So he loses his hand a little bit, especially on the glove side, sort of tends to lose that reactive element. The challenge for them is he's a guy who, because of all that extra movement in his game, relies a lot more on reads. And I'm not sure he's comfortable with the reads. Sounds like they've made some system changes. And so the easiest way is to give him an environment that's predictable, that he can trust. And it feels like that trust has just never really been established there. And I know that's going to sound like a cop-out, like there has to be a solution. But giving him a more predictable environment, I think, is step one to sort of letting him feel comfortable. Because, and you sort of, I hate to say it, but you sort of had to know that when you were acquiring him. Like, this isn't a spot-to-spot, sit and wait and let it come at me goalie, like a Devin Cooley, who's going to be contained within his crease. Like, he plays a more dynamic, reactive game. He's not the biggest guy. There's going to be more moving parts. And he is a little more reliant on an ability to sort of read off what's in front of him. Otherwise, he gets caught moving. And I honestly don't know how you fix it. That's why people get paid a lot more money to me to be NHL goalie coaches and have ideas. But just, like, I don't even know that it's a drill or practice or technical or anything like that. I would say video, a lot of video. And sort of if there are things he's still uncertain of, in terms of the tendencies, then it's on him to go to school and learn those things without actually being in the net. And that is one thing that you can do to sort of accelerate your learning curve of reading off the defense in front of you, is just to watch film. Some goalies don't love it. Some goalies don't think it helps. But it is one of those things that, again, like we talk a lot about young goalies learning to read the game. I think Tristan Jarry needs to learn to trust that system. Some of it's the system itself and the execution, but there are little things you can do to get more comfortable with, hey, where's this kind of guy going to be in this situation? I know what the system says. Where's this guy going to be with him? Can I trust him to be there? Or is he going to pressure at a different point than where the other, my second pair right D is? Little things like that typically just take time. That's why we see trades in December, not at the deadline with goalies. I do wonder a little bit if changing the system over the break throws a wrinkle in that, an extra wrinkle in that. And now you can't watch film because there isn't film on these changes. But yeah, it's a tough one. I honestly don't have the answer. Part of me would say just play him until you find that time, but Connor Ingram continues to give you better starts. It's hard to do that.
The Oilers need wins, man. You got to play the goal. He's playing well. That's just that's the truth.
Exactly. And so you've got to be paying attention then if you're on the bench. Like,
yes.
If these are adjustments and everything is different, you can't just be sitting there watching people in the crowd. You need to be, again, I've talked to goalies around the league. Nobody loves sitting out, but you can learn watching your team from the bench. And some goalies get into a zone even when they're not playing. Like, they think of that mindset of, what does this look like? What's my read? How am I moving? It takes a mental toll, to do that. But I would suggest that even when he's not playing, given all those changes, given everything that's going on, that's the type of work that needs to be going into this.
Kev, great stuff, man. I appreciate it. Have yourself an awesome day. Enjoy practice, and we'll talk to you next week.
I will. Thanks, Jason.
There you go. That's Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com. When we return, Ryan Holt will join us. A little update from Bakersfield and the Condors next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hi, I'm Colin Livingston, president of CanTorque. We've been tightening bolts and redefining our industry for 25 years. Yes, a quarter century, and we're just getting started. Check us out at CanTorque.com. Our tools age better than I do.
Hi, I'm Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC.
March Madness is finally here. If you've been waiting to get into a new or used vehicle, now is the time. This is a mega sale, plus the grand opening of our all-new Autoplex, a massive indoor showroom. No iPads, no patio sets, no trips to Vegas. Just a good deal. So stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, healing doesn't have to feel heavy, because in our SwimX aquatic therapy pools, you literally float your way to recovery. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, back pain, joint injuries, post-surgical rehab, chronic pain, balance issues, mobility challenges, or just feeling a little creaky, warm water and gentle resistance have your back, your knees, and your hips. Trusted by pro sports teams and rehab hospitals, our SwimX pools help you move sooner, hurt less, and recover faster. So take the load off. Let the water do the work. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Hey Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpot's Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Looking for the perfect gift? Give the gift of great taste with a Loca Quality Market gift card. Redeemable at any Loca Quality Market or Loca operated restaurant. It's a treat for food lovers. Ready anytime. Grab yours today at loca.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by CanTorque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at CanTorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$2.52. We can continue on. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Can we get to the oil report brought to you by Go Auto? Cars, trucks, vans, SUVs, well, you name it. They have it over 15,000 to choose from at 71 different locations. Great service, great options. GoAuto.ca. As we welcome in the voice of the Condors, Ryan Holt, for another report on the Young Oilers. Ryan, how you doing, Matt?
I'm good, Jason. How you doing?
Excellent. We're coming down the wire in the AHL, and the Condors have had a very good season. Obviously, you know what? It's great to have Szymanski up here. I'm sure in a perfect world they'd like him down there to get for the stretch run. And I think when Henrique's healthy, he'll probably be back. But kind of give me a little update on how things are going. What's the rotation for the goalies been?
Yeah, it's just been every other night for Tompkins and Pickard here for the last since Pickard came down from Edmonton, and then once he came back from from the Olympic break, and both I thought were very good over the weekend. I thought the team kind of let picks out to dry a little bit on Friday, 5-on-5. Gave up a little bit more than we've been accustomed to here of late. Still was able to get a point and get into overtime, but Tompkins was very good on Saturday as well too. So 2 veteran netminders here down the stretch, and I think the coaching staff feels pretty comfortable with both of them between the pipes.
Now you mentioned they kind of let him out to dry, 5-on-5. For a long time, they had a pretty good run. Now they're 5-2-2-1, so they've won half of their last 10 games. Not ideal, but a few of them overtime and shootout, so not as terrible maybe as it looks overall. But there has been a little bit more leakiness defensively, or are they just not getting out of this world goaltending?
Well, and I think part of it is just the schedule. The last week was 5 games in 8 nights. There was a lot of travel involved in there, and I think it was the meat of the schedule, right? There was 3 games against Colorado, Ontario on a Sunday afternoon. Coachella Valley's been playing really well against everybody aside from the Condors. It seems like here of late. So I just think the opponents. I think the quality of competition. You're facing the 2 teams that are right at the top here for, most of the season with Ontario and Colorado. And, it's definitely an adjustment. I think Friday night Tucson is a team that, might sneak into the playoffs, but they play a physical, hard, heavy, style of game, which not necessarily, what the Condors want to do, just in terms of, the ability of this team skill wise. But that being said, I don't think the work ethic necessarily was there on Friday night to be able to outwork Tucson. That's a desperate team trying to claw their way in. And I thought that the results were much better on Saturday night, a 2-0 shutout where, the team really didn't allow much. Tompkins was very good when needed, but the team didn't allow much. So I think the team feels good about its overall, game here down the stretch, getting some pieces back, as you mentioned, and then, everyone kind of formulating themselves here. I think after the trade deadline, I could sense maybe the 2 weeks leading into the trade deadline, maybe, I don't know what the right word is, uneasiness or just uncertainty about what was going to go on here in Bakersfield. And then to come out of it basically, unscathed at the AHL level is very good, because I think, this team deserves it. I know the AHL and I know the Calder Cup isn't the ultimate prize, but I think, for this group that's been here all year, they've deserved an opportunity here to kind of pursue things down the stretch together. And, barring injuries, this will be the group here. And I think they're excited about it.
Damian Carfagna, another one of those free agent signings by the Oilers. And if you look at kind of his development over the year, Ryan, what's impressed you most about his game from the start of the year until now?
Yeah, his ability to transport the puck is exceptional. I would say, he's up there with, some of the better puck movers just in terms of his overall skating and his ability to, kind of be a one-man breakout. I think where, his development has come over the course of this year, and it's had to come because of injuries to Brown or call-ups to Stillman, injuries on the back end to Lepinen and having to take on an increased role is the defensive side of the game. And he's had to be, a guy who can play in his own end, who can stop plays, off the rush, and he's done that. So I think, his arrows are pointing up here down the stretch, which is a great sign. And again, like you mentioned, another guy that, and we talked about it over the year, but, another guy who came in, unheralded and kind of signed out of college and thrown into the mix, and they've all really popped. There hasn't been really one that's you kind of looked at and said, oh, this is a dud of a signing, or this is a dud of an acquisition, or a dud of a prospect pool. Everyone's kind of come in and found a role, and Carfagna is one of them. He's in more of a role now, I think, that is better suited for where he is right now. He's playing alongside Cam Dineen, who I think he can be a Cam Dineen type player here, moving forward down the stretch in terms of his overall 200-foot game, because I think Carfagna thinks the game well. He skates very well. And like I said, he transports the puck as good as anybody on this team. So, excited to see what he can do down the stretch.
One guy who's had a very good year, has had a career year when it comes to goals, is James Hamlin. We had James on the show last week, and you've seen him. It's funny, like he's 26, but he's kind of considered the veteran on that team, 27 now, just because of the age of some of those guys. But James is one of those players I think that was in another organization probably would get a look in the National Hockey League. And for what have you seen from him though this year that leads to the career best numbers?
Yeah, he just plays the game the right way. And, some years it's going to, lead to offense. Some years it's going to lead to goal production, right? He plays that, Zach Hyman type of role, right? 99% of his goals come from, the crease and about a foot on top of the perimeter of the crease, which, we don't have a lot of those guys, and he is that guy. He kills penalties. He's probably our top centerman just in terms of face-offs. He's a guy that's looked to in all situations. He can play on the power play when he's needed. He's been on the second power play unit for much of the season. But he scored more shorthanded goals than power play goals this year, which is an attribute to him. I'm fortunate to get to see him kind of grow up here in Bakersfield, right? He came as a 20-year-old kid, and, he was mature beyond his years at 20 years old, undrafted. Signed to an AHL contract, ends up making, an NHL contract, makes his debut, and, was a big part of that streak run, for the Oilers a couple of years ago, when the coaching change happened, and then, they went on the run there, and Hamlin ended up playing 30-plus games. So, I think the world of him. Selfishly, I hope he does, end up in the organization still moving forward. Obviously, it's a contract year for him, but he's a guy who, I look to in that dressing room for things we need, from a community standpoint, but also just in terms of his overall, on and off ice product that he brings night in and night out. I think he's a great role model for young kids. I think he's a great role model for guys who, weren't given a chance, and even guys who are given a chance, first round picks, and guys who are going to get the opportunity to show what they can do. He's a perfect person to have in that dressing room.
One last one for you. Ike Howard, 3 goals in his, I think it's in his last 5 games. He's obviously down at that level. He needs to be a goal scorer. Matt Savoy was a guy as a goal scorer, but also, really worked on his penalty kill. Heck, he leads the orders in PK numbers. Ike Howard's not going to be that guy. I don't think he's suddenly going to be a penalty killer, but what are you seeing maybe in the development of his game at the American League level lately?
Yeah, I thought him and Hudson had a better week, here this week, and I kind of lumped them obviously together. But I thought Howard was shooting the puck a little bit more, trying to find his opportunities a little bit more. The power play kind of connected here over the week, so that was good to see. I think that's where those two down the stretch. I think this is a big stretch for Howard because it's a college type of schedule here for the next couple of weeks. We only play on Fridays and Saturdays, so. You're going to get your rest here down the stretch, but you're also going to play in meaningful, important games. And I think that the quote-unquote struggles of Howard and Hudson, if you will, over the last 5 weeks is going to benefit them greatly down the stretch. And I think of Matt Savoy and how he came out early last year, and the points weren't necessarily there, the opportunities were there, but the scoring wasn't necessarily there. And then he popped about midway through the season. It was the opposite, right, for Howard and Hudson. They kind of popped right off the hop, and now have had to try and find their way. And I think, they're key pieces to what this team's going to do moving forward. They're key pieces to what this organization is going to have moving forward. So I think, Howard had a really nice week. I thought the last 3 games, had the goal. Obviously, it went in off his shin pad, but, they'll take those. And at the end of the day, he's got 16 goals in 33 games, I think it is. So, hard to find fault in what he's done here this year, but him and Hudson are going to be big pieces of this team moving forward.
As always, Holter, appreciate your time, man. Enjoyed a little bit of downtime now. You guys play the typical Friday, Saturday for the next 3 weeks here in March to get a little bit of a break and some rest, and then heat up for the playoff run in April. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, we're excited, Greg. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. There you go. That's Ryan Holta, voice of the Condors. That's the Oil Report brought to you by Go Auto. Quick break. We will return after Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where your rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Just 5 games in the NHL scheduled tonight. 1 game currently underway after 20 minutes. Kings up on the Jackets 2-1. Later on, Flyers host the Rangers, Flames in Washington, Blackhawks taking on the Mammoth, and the Sens meet the Canucks in the association tonight. We got the Warriors taking on the Jazz, Nuggets host the Thunder, Sixers head to Cleveland, and the Nets taking on the Grizz. NFL free agency today, the legal tampering period is underway. Wide receiver Alex Pierce staying with the Colts, 4 years, $116 million. Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker III joined the Chiefs on a 3-year deal worth $45 million. The Dolphins releasing quarterback Tua Tagovailoa and giving Malik Willis a 3-year contract. Tua will join the Atlanta Falcons on a 1-year contract. The Panthers signed edge rusher Jalen Phillips, 4 years, $120 million. Titans bringing in former Broncos defensive end John Myers and Mike Evans, longtime Buck, heading to San Fran for 3 years. In the Age-8, Grand Prairie taking on Devon. Nuggets going at 7. And at the Paralympic Games, Canada's sledge hockey team leads Japan 9-0 in third. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Jason Strudwick and get to the stat of the day. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
At GS Construction, every winter plan becomes a spring project.
1440
every repaired line and every improved system is how we build the next chapter of Edmonton's infrastructure. And we can't do that without the best and the brightest in the field. That's why right now, GS Construction is looking to hire experienced top men, pipe layers, and operators who can step in and hit the ground running. With a people-first mentality, career growth, and comprehensive benefits, why would you want to work anywhere else? To apply, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Jason Gregor, Connor.
To your radio.
25. Welcome back, Jason Gregor.
Is Edmonton's sports leader. Real talk, big personalities, and your texts. It's interactive. It's fun. It's where Edmonton talks sports. Sports 1440.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where
252, we continue on. Jason Gregor, Connor
every
Halley.
bite and sip. Make
Jason
Summit
Gregor,
Restaurant your next night on the town.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a full warranty center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB, and we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at aws.ca. AWS Welding. Our welding keeps you working.
Salvi Group is celebrating 50 years of building homes and communities, and we want to share the celebration with you. For a limited time during our 50/50 event, you'll enjoy 50% off select packages. That's special savings, select upgrades, and added value, all designed just for you. Build new or move in sooner at Hillshire. There's never been a better time to call Hillshire home. Celebrate with Salvi Group and enjoy 50 years, 50% off. Visit Hillshire today. Salvi Group, 50 years of craftsmanship, quality, and commitment.
When I met you in the summer, to my heartbeat sound, we fell in love as the leaves turn brown. And we could be together, baby, as long as skies are blue. You act so.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging Deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators, visit japanmachinery.com for all the details.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Just after 3 o'clock. How are you? Welcome back. Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday afternoon. Oilers, day off today. They were in Colorado tomorrow. It'll start a 3 and 4 game stretch for the Edmonton Oilers. They play Tuesday, then they're into Dallas on Thursday, then into St. Louis on Friday, and that really kind of wraps up the remaining toughest part of the Oilers schedule, because after this week, it's pretty favorable for the Edmonton Oilers. They play next week, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, all at home. Sunday's a 6 o'clock start, then Tuesday, Thursday, 7's 8 o'clock. Then they have 2 days off. Then they have a brief road trip into Utah on the Tuesday, the 24th, and into Vegas on the 26th. Then they come home, play the Ducks on an afternoon game on Saturday. So that's a little bit of a tight turnaround, but not crazy. And then they have 2 days off. Then they play Seattle at home. Then they play Chicago at home 2 days later. Then they play the Knights 2 days later. Then they have 2 days off. Then they have a back-to-back Utah and San Jose. Then another 2 days off. So, like, you look at the Oilers, just in the month of April, they have 3 different stretches where they have 2 days between games. They only play 7 games that month. And they have 2 this month. So they got 5 times where they have 2 days between games the rest of the season. That's pretty favorable for the Edmonton Oilers. Obviously, they got a big win last night. And they got to find a way, if they can, I think, to split these next 2 games between Colorado and Dallas. You know, the St. Louis game won't be easy. The Blues are playing spoiler quite well as of late. But when I look at the Oilers, you got Colorado, you got Dallas. It's a good opportunity to test yourself. Both teams are playing really well. Right? Colorado's a really good team. They've been good all year long. They're excellent on home ice. Not that Dallas is shabby themselves. Like, Colorado's is 23-4-4 on home ice. Dallas is 19-7-7. And Colorado's won 5 in a row. Dallas has won 10 of their last 11. Their only loss is an overtime loss. So, against the Colorado Avalanche. So, sorry, that was Minnesota who lost. But they did. Dallas lost Colorado too in extra time. So, we'll see. I look at the Oilers, and last night was a good start to the road trip. Wasn't a perfect game, but it's progress. And that's where you have to think about for the Edmonton Oilers. They need progress. And last night, they lowered the number of high danger chances. Progress. I still think there's some work to do there. Offensively, hey, they scored 4. I know one's an empty netter, but, they score 3 goals in a game. You created actually quite a few good chances, hit the iron a few times. I thought there was a few stretches where they still, they had some good looks, and you're right in the slot and you pass it up. That's never going to completely disappear from a team's game, but if they can reduce it even more, that would be good. We'll get into more with the Oilers with Struds, but I do want to bring in Connor Halley now, because Con's NFL free agency. And man, there is some big names moving in the National Football League.
Yeah, I mean, the big name for you and the Chiefs fans out there, Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP, 3 years, $45 million. And we talked about that. The franchise tag, if Seattle would have placed, it would have been just about $14 million. So, my thought process was you give him a long-term deal and maybe you drop that AAV per se down to 14, 13, 12, or whatever it might be. But the Chiefs obviously willing to pay that money, about $15 million a year if he hits the incentives. So I really like that one for the Chiefs. Go to a team where, you have that quarterback play. It's going to be elite. Kenneth Walker, a chance to really show what he can do. Probably being the feature back there. I don't know if Kareem Hunt or Pacheco, what the feature is going to be for them. The Miami Dolphins releasing Tua Tagovailoa. They'll have $99 million in dead cap. That's a tough one. And then they pay Malik Willis $67 million over 3 years to come over from the Green Bay Packers, where he was the backup there for Jordan Love. Not a big surprise when you see the Packers' former AGM and coordinator are running the show there over in Miami. So that one made a lot of sense. The Panthers giving Jalen Phillips a big deal, 4 years, $120 million. He was traded to the Eagles midseason last year and had some pretty big plays. And it's going to be weird to see a few guys with new teams. Mike Evans specifically leaving the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where he was so good for so long. He's joining the San Francisco 49ers on a 3-year deal. And the one that maybe didn't surprise me, but the cost is Alex Pierce. And he was very hyped, the receiver for the Colts.
Yeah.
Just made it over 1,000 yards. And that was his best career year. He is about over 22 yards per catch, so makes big plays, but he gets 4 years, $116 million to stay in Indy. So good payday for him. Get it when you can, but that one I'm kind of scratching my head about.
What about the Jalen Naylor deal with the Raiders?
Yeah, I mean, playing in Minnesota, obviously you're not going to get that many looks when you've got Jefferson and Jordan Addison ahead of you on the depth chart, and he just was a guy who just kind of made plays, splash plays all the time. And for the Raiders, obviously Max Crosby's a big loss, but they get Linderbaum from the Ravens, their center. They signed him to a very big deal. So all of a sudden, you're going to have Fernando Mendoza. You have a very good tight end.
You think they're going to start Mendoza for sure?
I kind of hope they don't.
Like, wouldn't you sign Cousins and then give Mendoza a year to learn? What do you think of that?
I would not hate that at all. Well, like maybe let's see what Kyler Murray wants to do. Like there's guys out there who I think would do a fine job getting you through the season.
Yeah, but I look at Cousins and I don't know. I just think maybe you can. I'm not sure Kyler Murray is necessarily the guy you want him to learn from.
That's fair. That would be fair.
That's my concern.
I mean, I think his ceiling is higher if you want to try to start winning games. But yeah, if you wanted to have a guy that he could learn from, Kirk Cousins would be a great one. There's kind of similarities in their personalities as well. So you think they probably would get along. I feel like the Raiders might rush Mendoza, which might not be the best thing. But yeah, when you bring that up, I wouldn't mind seeing it actually.
What do you think of Travis Etienne and the Saints?
I like it. I'm curious what that means for Alvin Kamara and, what his usage will be going forward here. There are some people that mock Jeremiah Love, the Notre Dame running back, to the Saints there. So if you were to pair him up with Etienne, you got a guy who can be versatile in the backfield. And then Love would be obviously, kind of the bell cow, maybe get more of the carries. I like it though. I mean, I think Etienne up and down. I mean, that kind of maybe went hand in hand with Trevor Lawrence and the kind of inconsistencies we saw in his play. But if he can stay healthy, he's a dynamic playmaker, like good out of the backfield, running or receiving.
Yeah, I can't believe though, Conj, you didn't talk about what went down a few hours ago when it was the historic run of punters. Jordan Stout signed the largest deal ever for a punter,
yeah.
Right? Then New Orleans got Ryan Wright on a 4-year deal at 14. Then Bailey went to the Falcons. And those all happened, I think, within like 20 minutes. And I was just like, wow, it's good to be a punter, man. Good for them.
Like the agent's like, all right, here's the number, sign it. Well, look at Michael Dixon, what he did for the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. He was unbelievable. So yeah, the importance of a punter is massive. A guy who can switch the field, win field position, the battle there. I like to see it, and good for the punters union.
We'll have to ask Struddy, what do you think of likely? How likely is it that he has success in New York?
I saw people saying, oh yeah, Harbaugh got that extension for Andrews so he could take him to his next destination. Worked out pretty good for him. The Giants, they've signed 3 Ravens, I believe, actually today. So a lot of familiarity going that way. The Titans doing the same sort of thing. Salah bringing in former members of the Giants or the Jets, sorry. So that kind of the relationships in football are are important.
Now, obviously, because I'm doing it live on air, have you seen anything? Is there anything on Trent Williams? Anything come down there with him and the 49ers?
Haven't seen anything there. Is he looking for another payday?
Yeah, well, they're talking about, they're like a contract impasse. I'm like, didn't this guy just sign a contract? Like,
feels like this pops up every couple of years there with Trent Williams.
Wow.
Why he left Washington.
Wow. You know what? Hey,
He's the beast.
Guy wants to get his money. He's a pretty good player.
Oh, yeah. Hall of Famer when he's done.
Well, there was lots of talk that people thought he might go to KC.
No, thanks. The Chiefs retooling is going to be very impressive with their first round picks that they have coming in. Obviously, trading away Trent McDuffie and a higher pick from their struggles. The Chiefs will be back in no time.
Yeah, well, Kenneth Walker, he's gonna get a lot of carries and a lot of pass receptions, I think, and like they're gonna use him a lot, I think.
Yeah, now you're just wondering, will Kareem Hunt be his Charbonnet and come steal the red zone touchdowns like we'd seen in the past in Seattle? But I love this move for Kansas City. Like, go get a legit running back. I think that was a big move for them. If you think it's an overpay, whatever, it's 3 years. And I'm wondering if it's top end loaded, and then if it doesn't work out, cut away after 2 years. But yeah, it's a good move for the Chiefs.
Yeah, interesting. Hey guys, you're talking about the Raiders. They don't do anything that makes sense from Cat Dad. Yeah, well, it's going to be fascinating to see. Like I read an article on a man, I should remember who wrote it. It was just talking about he thinks there's so much dysfunction because of Guerrero involved and just how much say he has or how much perceived say he thinks he has in that organization. And, he's obviously, you got Tom Brady and it just, I don't know, man. Like to me, it seems odd that he's on TV, but he's working for the team. Like, I just think it's hard to do both. I don't think he can do both jobs. Well, he can do the TV job fine, but I think it's going to impact his ability to have that organization run smoothly. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, to me, I find it kind of weird, like that the league allows it because you're doing these meetings with other teams, and they were saying he wasn't allowed in meetings for a little while, but you don't think that what you learn in these meetings is going to be passed along. And I don't know. I think he's a good sounding board. Tom Brady, like you saw what he did in Tampa Bay and the Patriot history. I know that, a lot of people say kind of, was it Brady? Was it Belichick? Obviously it was both of them, but the Brady level of like trying to do what he does is pretty high. And obviously he's a pretty good guy when it comes to evaluating talent and guys that you want to bring in there. So I think they're going to be on the right path. I do like the new coach. We'll see. Coordinating in Seattle is a little different than going to the Raiders, but you're going to have the number one overall pick. I think they still have $80 million after spending what they spent already, improving their secondary, improving the offensive line. They're just in such a tough division. Kansas City is going to be back. The Chargers have been 11 straight wins. The Broncos are a weird injury away from maybe being in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, it's a tough one for the Raiders.
Hey, boys, who do you think the Super Bowl contending Denver Broncos will sign? They need a wide receiver and, more important, tight end. And they haven't signed anybody yet, have they?
Don't think so. Who's out there still? Comes to receivers. I mean, the big one was Pierce, but I don't think they were in those conversations. Isaiah Likely would have been a nice fit for them. It's not the best free agency class, really. Wan'Dale Robinson got paid with the New York.
He got paid
Giants.
huge, man.
Yeah.
He got like $19.5 million.
Yeah, really good deal for him. Just trying to think who could be out there.
Titans are going to be brutal. I just want to say that.
Well, yeah, no doubt about that one. Dallas Goedert, could he be somewhere you look at tight end?
Well, if you look at receivers, Juwan Jennings, Rashid Shaheed, they're still available, right?
Yeah, Shaheed. Yeah, I'm a big fan of him. I think he's an X factor, but I don't know if you want to bring him in as wide receiver one.
No, and Njoku from the Browns.
Yeah,
right? He's available as a tight end. Goddard, is he still available? I don't think he's signed yet, has he?
No.
Right, okay, so those are some guys. Denver. I don't know, man. Like the NFL, the one thing that's tough about the NFL is the schedule does matter because it's so imbalanced, and bad teams can become better quickly because of their schedule for a year. If they find basically whichever of the bad teams improves the quickest, they take advantage of it because of their schedule for a year, right? It's kind of how it goes. It doesn't guarantee you success, but we've seen that in the past for sure. It does play a factor, no doubt, in their teams. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, Strutty will join us. He's so excited he's joining us a day early. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
AC Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, to the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a new from Legacy. Oh, yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
It's the iconic Jasper Ave Patty Party. That's on the rocks. We're turning Jasper Avenue green.
Your 5-day St. Paddy's Day party kicks off Friday at OTR.
With live entertainment every day.
Including the Feelin' Lucky burlesque show on Sunday.
Plus pipers, Irish dancers, and doors open at 9 a.m. on the 17th.
We got more green beer than Marco has fancy shirts. And trust me, that's a lot.
Lucky the Leprechaun will be there.
Will you?
It's the iconic Jasper Ave Patty Party. That's on the rocks. Next round's on me. Woohoo!
NHL Star Sticks are back at McDonald's, and we're celebrating by going bigger.
Make that smaller, way smaller than ever before.
Collect the set and get one of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal. Featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, McCarr, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeau. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
Alan Olson Auctions presents the unreserved auction for Will's Welding of Pinoca. Online bidding is open now through March 10th at alanolsonauction.com. Bid on 2 one-ton portable welding trucks, telehandlers, a huge selection of new welding supplies and rods, plasma cutters, welding tables, power tools, metal racks, and so much more. For more info, call Alan Olson Auctions at 403-843-2747 or visit alanolsonauction.com.
Hot coffee, hotter takes, and the sports stories that matter. Check out Kevin Carrions weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440. Be part of the conversation. 833-401-1440.
If you change your mind, take a chance on the taking line. Honey, I'm Steve.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
We roll through Monday afternoon. There is an afternoon game going on in the National Hockey League. This is a game they had to reschedule. The Kings and the Blue Jackets. LA had jumped out to a 2-0 lead, but the Blue Jackets, who are like the Kings in a playoff battle, have stormed back. Connor Garland has scored, and Denton Matejchuk has just tied the game at 2. Blue Jackets out shooting the Kings 22-11 midway through the second period. And obviously, Oiler fans, that game does have some say. The Oilers have 70 points. The Kings have 64. They have 2 games in hand. So you lose that one today. If they lose it, then they remain 6 back with only 1 game in hand. And right now, every game matters in the stretch. The Oilers, of course, have moved within 2 points of Vegas. They both have 18 games remaining in the season. They play each other twice. The Oilers would have the tiebreaker right now as they have 2 more regulation wins than the Golden Knights. So something to follow along. And the Oilers are 3 points back of the Ducks. The Ducks have a game in hand. And the Oilers in Anaheim play once more this season. How about the Ducks? 8-0 in the shootout this year. The Oilers are 0-3. So kind of a wild little stat there. Now let's get to Struds On, brought to you by Action Electrical. Take action on your savings right now. If you're thinking about solar, look at it. We're starting to get more sunlight all the time. It's going to be fantastic. So you can get lots of savings and you get loans and grants. They'll help you through it. ActionElectrical.net.
The Jason Gregor Show presents Struds On.
I don't believe in tea bags. I use loose leaf tea. It is so much better than the tea bags. I'll eat tea bags. I'll
Struds On.
I'm not a huge DJ guy. I guess if you had me a couple glow sticks and a tight white t-shirt that I can get wet, maybe I'd be into it.
Struds On.
There's a lone steakhouse I used to go to down in Kentucky, and they had bowls of peanuts. I wasn't sucking on those ones. You need to have clean nut. I'm talking about the kind you get in a bag at an Elks game. You know what I mean?
It's time for Struds On.
Struddy, how you doing?
I'm great. How you doing?
Oh, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. There are times when you see things that I think are somewhat easily predictable, and Dickinson and Murphy helping solidify the Oilers defensively were 2 things I thought were kind of easy to predict. And I've watched Murphy. Let's start with him specifically. He's physical, right? He's not flashy, Struds, but he just gets in the way. He's tougher in front of the net, but more importantly, I just see how he's very good at angling guys to the outside and putting them up against the boards.
Absolutely. So we spoke Friday, and I think the one thing I mentioned to you in Low Tide was, and this is about all 3, is that the team looks a lot bigger. You look a lot bigger to the other team, that's a good thing, but also they take up more space. Your arms are longer, your legs are longer, your stick's longer, everything's longer. When I watch Murphy play, those are the things I think about right away. He takes up a lot of space. He's a big man, and he's a right shot big man. I think that Oilers fans forget the type of impact that Adam Larson had on this Oilers team, right? I'd say he was more dirty than Murphy, but he battled hard, right? He made a play. He did all these types of things that were important as a right shot D. Well, now they have Murphy in there to do that. And you nailed it. Like he is not going to make the highlights, right? And you don't want him to. You don't need him to. The Oilers have enough highlight reel players. They need guys that don't allow players on other teams to get on the highlights in a good way. And that's what he does. So, his angling's good. I like his stick play. I like his attention to detail, make it hard in the hard zones and be hard to play against. In front of that, lifting sticks, make it hard to get off the wall. And then the PK as well. The PK has been good with him on there as well. And it's what he brings, Griggs, but I think he brings confidence to the penalty kill. Recently, the confidence of that group has been low. You bring in he and Dickinson, it immediately changes the confidence because those guys have been a part of a good penalty kill, and they expect the same from themselves on this group here.
Well, yeah, the penalty. Well, it's funny because they had the exact same penalty kill structure in Chicago as they had in Edmonton. And Murphy just talked about continuity. I know you've talked about it before, Struds. It matters. You get the same guys, so you got to have Murphy and Nurse. And it didn't surprise me that Dickinson was out there to start with Murphy. Why wouldn't you put 50% of the best penalty kill unit and you have both of them on the ice together in Edmonton? And kind of, I know you can't go with it all the time, but your number 1 power play unit, you find ways to get your number 1 power play unit to start almost every power play. I'm pretty sure you can find ways to have your number 1 penalty kill unit start almost every penalty kill. There's no difference.
Yeah. No, well, yeah. I mean, sometimes now, why wouldn't they? Well, number 1, there might be a penalty amongst those 4 guys. So then you have the next guy in, right? But you still have 75% of your penalty kill, that top unit. It's not like you're going to have, 3 guys get penalties. They're all in your penalty kill at the same time, right? There'll be 1. So you replace the 1 guy. But then if you're kind of at the end of a shift, all right, then maybe, okay, how long was he out for? Okay, 30 seconds. He's got maybe a minute or two here to break. He's okay. He can do the first 30 seconds or 45 seconds of kill. But it does make a difference. I mean, I was part of kills where you knew who you're going out with, and you knew you were good at it, and you're jumping over that board. You couldn't wait. You're skipping to the face-off. Didn't matter who was across the way because you knew you could get the job done. And then that confidence is pushed into the second group. And what it does is it maybe tweaks what the other group on the other side thinks. Man, the power play, this isn't an easy one anymore. Where they're going to be, stouter. They're going to be harder to play against and harder to get to know the ice. So, confidence is something that can be wiped away quickly. It does take time to build, but we've seen the past with this Oilers penalty kill. When they get rolling as a unit, they can really get it done. And I'll attribute that to the coaches as well. The coaching staff that runs it. We've seen some of the members of his coaching staff run a really good and tight penalty kill.
Stride, I know it's only 6 games, but I put myself out there as somebody who I thought Trent Frederic could offer more than what he had this year. And, people are like, this guy's terrible. He's going to be brutal. I'm like, hey, he's playing brutal. I don't discount that, but I actually think he can help the team. And I said he had to use that 3-week break to just go back and erase and just focus on it. 6 games, being easily his best 6 games in order. He's got 2 goals. He's winning so many battles along the boards now, which is allowing them to just keep the puck in the offensive zone so that you're just not playing defense as much. Trent Frederic is looking like the player they thought they were going to get. It's taken a lot longer than anyone hoped, but it finally looks like this is a guy that can positively contribute to the team.
Well, a couple of things. One, you nailed it. And you're seeing him smile. Usually when a player smiles, that means he's enjoying himself. When he's not smiling, now some guys are just pissed off all the time, but I think he's a guy that when I watched him play in Boston, you could tell he's enjoying himself and playing well. So that's a big deal. Trent Frederic finding his game now is like the Oilers trading for another player because he's been a shell of himself. He has not been the player he wants. Lastly, I've been advocating for this player all year. And I believe in this player and what he can do for this team. He's big. He can skate. I think he's smart. When I watched him play in Boston, I'm like, yeah, this is a guy I could see being important for this group. And the Oilers need size. Just think about it. They've now added, if you include Trent, 4 guys all north of 6'2" in Doc, Dickerson, Murphy, and Trent Frederic. That's a lot of size because Trent wasn't playing big. He wasn't playing big, early in the year. Now he's getting to the net. I mean, the goal he scored last night, they're not putting that in the loop, but who cares? They all count the same. He went to the net. If I remember correctly, he pushed a guy off, created space for himself, and tapped it in a 3-incher. That's okay. Though they all count the same. So, getting him coming around, he's skating. He's really important to this team. They need him. And you can start to see what the bottom 6 could be. And I'm not even talking about scoring. I'm talking about impacting the game and kind of imposing their wills on the other team as a collection of 6 players.
I'll say about Colton Dock, man. Well, he almost scored on Friday night. Had great release. Big body. Yeah. That line. Now, I didn't like the first period. You only play him a minute, 2. Like, I'm sorry, I don't care who you are. Like, what are we doing? So you got to find a way to get him more. Now, I'm realistic. I think if he could play 9 minutes a night because he's not on the penalty kill, he's not on the power play. Like, there's only so many 5-on-5 minutes, right? Like, you're not going to get 12 minutes from your 4th line 5-on-5. It's unrealistic because there's only now the Oilers are the second highest 5-on-5 playing team because they don't take a lot of penalties, don't get a lot of power plays. They're still under 50 minutes, Strud. So you divide it by 4, you're not going 13, 13, 12, and 12. It's not happening, right? Yeah. So if he gets 9 minutes, I know it's hard to do, but early on, he looks like a player who can make an impact in limited minutes. And that's a valuable asset to have.
So he's a player that leaves me wanting to see more of him. I want to see more of his ice time. And trust me, if I'm seeing it, so is the guy standing behind the bench. What you need to do when you're in his position, and it might not even happen this year, Griggs, he needs to keep putting himself in a position. Every time he touches the ice, the coach is like, I got to find more ice time for 34. Sick number, by the way. You got to keep finding a way to get him more and more and more reason to put you on the ice. And he's doing that. Now, again, he might not, there might be some nights where he doesn't break 5. Who cares? You make that 5 feel like 10. You make the 8 you get feel like 13. So that when he's in, he's like, man, I got to find a way. And you're building something. And I this is a bit dramatic, but you think about Podkolzin. Podkolzin has continued to build a case for himself to get more ice time, and no one's given him anything, right? He's not being given anything. He's earning everything he has, and that sounds really old-fashioned. Hey, you got to earn what you get. But in a guy like Podkolzin case, going into the second team, same with Colton, now in his second team, he has to do the same thing. But I'll go back to what I said earlier, man. The Oilers have to get bigger, and the team looks a lot bigger with him out there. He plays with edge. He keeps other teams, their heads up when they're going back to the puck. And even if you only have a couple hits a game, they're wondering, okay, was this guy coming out? It makes a difference because now you got him hitting, you got Murphy hitting, you got Trent Frederick hitting, got Podkolzin hitting. There's guys through that lineup that are, hitting behind. And now all of a sudden we're like, geez, actually this team is actually pretty physical and not so easy to play against. So Colton's got to keep pushing for more ice time. May not get it right away, but if you keep knocking on the door, sooner or later with this team or another, they find you the ice time.
Yeah, well, exactly. So you got to find the ice time. I look at Vegas, Struds, and I watched them last night, and there's nothing about that Vegas team that makes me look and say, wow. Now, I know Mark Stone wasn't in the game, so that's obviously a caveat, but there's nothing that says the Oilers can't beat them. Like Vegas, they don't match up well against the Oilers, to be honest. Like they haven't now for a few years.
So the path to the Western Conference Final is there for the Edmonton Oilers. There's no doubt in my mind. But I guess one thing has to happen for sure. The Oilers have to play like they can. And there's way more upside to this Oilers team than any other team in the Pacific Division. Yeah, the Ducks can score and they're fun to watch and they've got a lot of skill. Get 7 games when the Oilers are at their best. I'll take that. I'll take that action. Vegas, I keep going back to it. Their D isn't what it used to be. It is not. And Pietrangelo was a really important player for this team. Yes, he was aging. Yes, he had the injury issues towards the end. And obviously that's why he's not a part of it now. But he helped this group. Even Haig, big body, took up space. Think back to when they just trounced the Oilers in the playoffs. Haig was a good player for them. So they're not the same as they were. The Oilers, I'm not even thinking about Vegas. I'm not even thinking about the Ducks. I'm thinking about my own game. How do I get our game at the best it can be? Because I'll take those odds that we can beat 2 teams in this division. And then you get to the Western Conference Final. Yeah, it's going to be tough. I think Minnesota or Colorado. No disrespect to Dallas, but that's the 2 teams I see. And then that'll be a hard one. But it's supposed to be hard. It's a Western Conference Final.
Oh, God, yeah, 100%. Should be hard. Struddy, I know that you're at the Pandas volleyball on Friday night. They won the Canada West title at home this past weekend. So shout out to the University of Pandas volleyball. How's your now? I know your volleyball skills aren't very good, but how's your volleyball watching skills?
Yeah, so my daughter's team, she's in on a team and she went. And I'll tell you what my biggest regret is, not going to a game sooner. The athleticism on these athletes is insane. I couldn't believe it. I sat down there and, with some other parents of my daughter's team. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? There's people flying all over the place trying to, get a spike or whatever, or to accept one and to knock it up, and it goes out. They're running all over the place. It was unbelievable action. And the scene there was great. I think there was a lot of, students kind of sitting in the one end, and they were heckling the other team. Ironically, my old, where I went for pre-med in the Three Rivers University in Kamloops. So I was a bit torn about who I was cheering for. Ultimately, I did go for Alberta, but, that pre-med still kind of tugs at me. But those guys were heckling them. The environment, it was probably 78% full. That's my regret, is I didn't go sooner in the year. Next year, I will be going early on to their games because this team is good and it is so much fun to watch. The volleyball was incredible.
Oh, God. It is like university volleyball. Volleyball at a lot of high levels, I think, is really underappreciated. It's just the athleticism. Yeah. Like the height that a lot of them can get is just stunning to me, really.
And the misdirection, the setter goes and she's throwing it forward, backward. And again, I don't know all the terms. I'm just embarrassing myself, I'm sure, but I loved it. So next year I'll be going way earlier. And then most times, I think in the winter, you can see a doubleheader, the guys and the girls. So that'd be really worthwhile seeing. But yeah, who's your spy? You got spies everywhere, eh? Like insider sports here in Edmonton.
It's ready. It's what we're supposed to do here, buddy. So you know what? Hey, when the monkey butt's easy to notice, though, right?
Monkey,
so that's
I don't have a monkey butt. That I do not have. That is on one of my coworkers on the Got Your Back podcast, but not on this. I've got a lot of things going on, buddy, but that is not one of them. Do not start that rumor.
Nice. Well, one last one for you. What did you make of the Buffalo Tampa game? Did you happen to watch it, or did you see the highlights?
So I just saw the highlights, and you know what? Buffalo's a funny team, man. They're like, we're here, man. We're here, and we're going to make this happen. And I think it's a great story. You know, I feel for Kevin Adams, who was there a long time, and you know, a lot of these guys are his. But that's life. But I think that they're putting teams on notice that, like, we're not here just to make the playoffs. We're here to win. And that D, Greg's, if it's not the best in the league, it's up there amongst the top because they are good and they are deep.
I look at they're and they didn't even have the big man. They didn't have their two big. Now Shen's the number 7 defenseman on their team, but just imagine in a month's time, because that's when they meet. They meet again one more time right before the play. And if those two teams are still battling for first place, the one thing about Tampa Bay, like, they got to, like, I think a lot of people overlook when the Edmonton Oilers were a championship team, they were the most skilled team, but they also could go in the ditch with you. If you wanted to fight, they could play mean. They had lots, like Mark Messier, one of their best players, you know, he was ultra tough. They had a lot of toughness. Tampa Bay has a tough team, right? They have lots of, like, skilled guys. You know, Brandon Hagel, people are going to hate him for what he did on Darlene. That's fine. But they got guys who, you know, they don't just have, like, I know Sabrin, he's kind of like a tough guy, sure. But, you know, Buffalo's, they got some gamers. They had a lot of guys stand up. Like, I'll say Sam Carrick, to me, I'm not sure there's a guy who consistently fights above his weight class than Sam Carrick.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny because, you know, he was a little bit of a quiet addition by Buffalo out of New York. But that's 2 times now. You know, the Oilers traded for him for their playoff run. And now you got New York giving him up to Boston or Buffalo for the same thing. The thing with Sam is he never is not in the fight. If there's an issue, he's there. And you want to have guys like that you know that they have your back, and that makes a big difference.
Yeah. Oh, I think it makes a massive. And you just think Logan Stanley, Struddy, like what he's going to add, like, and he's having a good year. Like, he's a good player, but he'll just add something to your team now that says, hey, you guys want to try to push us around. And when you have more guys, like, I look at the Oilers, now you've got Frederick, and you've got Doc, and you've got Podkolzin, and you've got Nurse. Like, you've got enough guys that and I still would love to see Edmonton intimidate teams more. It's the one thing that they don't do, and I'm perplexed why they don't.
Yeah, you know what? And honestly, like, Darnell Nurse hasn't had his best year, but let's be honest. But when he's at his best, he acts and is one of the most intimidating players on the ice. He has that swagger. And I think when he does it, you know, you're looking around that room, you're like, okay, he's got it. I can have the same thing. And I don't think Darnell even knows sometimes the impact he can have on his teammates when he's that way. When he skates on the ice and he's intimidating and pushing guys around, making his plays, all that kind of stuff, because you start adding that to all those players you mentioned. But he is a lead dog. He's been there the longest, or one of the longest. And I don't know that Darnell even understands it, because maybe I don't know if he's ever had anyone lead like that, but I know I've been around guys. I had a guy named Donald Brashear who was, you know, the toughest guy in the league, or one of the toughest, but he would always be in the fight. And I was like, I'm going to be right behind him all the time. When he got traded, I was like, well, man, where did he go? It's kind of scary by myself. I like it in the second spot, but you know, you need, I think Darnell, I hope someone's telling him what it can be like and feel like when he's that way for the rest of his teammates. And now it's a pack, and they're like, let's do this. And Darnell's our leader.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's the one element that at times just like last night, Brett Howden gives him a punch in the face. And I get that you can laugh at him. It's a 2-1 game, but at some point it's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go after the guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or you go after his small teammate.
Yes. Somebody,
and then
like,
you say, this is from Brett. Brett says hi.
Yeah.
And then you're giving it to him, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's hard. I get it's hard to do, but Darnell can do that. Like, he's such a good skater. He's not a guy. This isn't Jason Strudwick playing 12, 13, 14 minutes on the third or fourth pairing if there's one. He's out there all the time. Like, what did he play last night? He had to be 22 minutes. He was way up there. And you don't have to chase it around, but when you get that opportunity, you just kind of let people know, you know, this is how it is. And I've seen it, and I've seen it in Darnell, and that scenario. I think he's at his best when he's playing that way. I don't think he's had it this year, and maybe he forgets, or he doesn't know the impact he has on his teammates and can have.
Yeah, very true. Struddy, quickly, what did you think of your Giants today in free agency, and what they've added? I know that you know Isaiah Likely is coming over now to your Giants, but you lost Wan'Dale Robinson, and at that price, I can understand why. But what's your early thoughts on this season for your Giants?
Griggs, I've never shared with you, but sometimes I get a little overexcited about what the Giants do.
What? I can't recall that happening.
So you've never seen me in that moment. So before I jumped on Connor asking, I'm trying to downplay it. I'm trying to be calm because I'm really excited about the new guy to have in charge, Harbaugh, and what it could be for stability for those organizations. It sounds like he's changing the way things work in the front office and the way decisions are made and not made with people's kids jumping in and helping ideas. But if he thinks it's a good idea, I think it's a good idea. And, likely he's coming over. Hopefully he'll be a nice option for our quarterback Dartman to throw in there. But I'm not going to get carried away. In the past, I have gotten carried away thinking this is our year. I'm just hoping we turn north than last year with the end of the worst.
Well, hopefully you're on the way up, Struddy. We'll see.
Thanks, buddy. Me too.
Yeah, we'll chat with you next week. Enjoy it. Big games for the Oilers, so we'll talk about them next week.
Looking forward to it. See you guys.
There you go. That is Jason Strudwick. Quick break. We'll return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great, but you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium one-topping pizza for only $6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular menu price. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's with a $6 one-top medium when you order any large specialty at regular menu price. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 furnace install company for sailors because they know the value of a warm port. And they sing, there was a ship who fought the cold, who sailed the sea with a furnacy load. She brought the heat to YEG and her name was Legacy. Through icy wind and winter squall, her fire she burned for one and all with a comfort chugging guarantee, and her name was Legacy. No payments, no! Yep, no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. Don't trust just any port in a winter storm. Trust Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59.9. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Looking for a tasty lunch? Papa John's has you covered. Get a small 2-topping pizza for only $9.99 with code S999 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
When it gets too much, I need to be. I'm gonna run to you. 'Cause when the sea is like, I'm gonna run all night. I'm gonna run to you.
.354. Rolling through Sports 1440, Sports 1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, 833-401, 1440, 833-401, 1440. Hope you are having an awesome day. The Oilers had the day off today. They will get back at it. So tomorrow we'll have a morning skate, and they'll take on the Avalanche. It's an 8 o'clock start tomorrow, Edmonton time. And then Thursday's game will be a 6 o'clock start, Edmonton time. So you plan yourself accordingly. Coming up on the show a little bit later on, Dan Dunleavy will join us just after 4 o'clock to talk about the wild and the wacky with that Buffalo-Tampa game and the fact that the Sabres won. They had a 3-0 lead. They blew it for a while. You're thinking, oh, my God, they're going to tank it. And then they come back and score 3 goals from a 7-5 deficit to win 8-7. Like, if you're a fan of the 80s, you were just like, it's been a while since I've seen a game like this. 15 goals, 5 fights, lots of scrums, lots of intensity. It was a great game. Honestly, that was a game. I'll tell you, think about Oiler fans in regular season games for the last few years. What's been their most memorable regular season game? Has there been a game that people remember quickly more than the Calgary-Edmonton game? Just because of the Mike Smith fight? Right? Or the other time when it was Kachuk and Cassian? Trust me, the emotional games, we all remember more. You might remember like a McDavid when he went around all the Rangers. Fair. But I'm telling you, those emotional games, they stick with you. And I think it's good for the league to have a few of those emotional games for sure. So we'll get to our stats of the day a little bit later on. Today in the show, we'll get some text messages, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, further to the swagger Nurse can offer, he's no longer counted to be the team's number one ice time guy. So if you wanted to waste one and take out some frustration on the opponent, his minutes can be picked up now by the other 5 defense from Propane Pimp. Well, but if you look at it, who played again the most minutes last night for the Edmonton Oilers in a really big game? Darnell Nurse. They still play him a ton, but that doesn't mean that I agree with you that it doesn't mean that every now and then you can't just, sit down for 5 minutes. There's no reason he can't. None. Zilch, 0, right? Like McDavid played 21-37 last night. Draisaitl played 20-59. Nurse played the most, 23-14. And then Connor Murphy, then Evan Bouchard, right? Ekholm obviously was a little bit under the weather. He only played 14 minutes. So obviously Nurse's minutes will come down when Ekholm's come up, right? So you're right. I'd have no problem in other games. I feel it's an element of his game that he has, but doesn't show enough. Hey, Greg's with the Jets 5 points out. What are the chances they get into a wild card spot and make the playoffs from Will? Well, Will, it's funny. We talked about that on the rundown with Jeff Merrick and myself. We recorded late Sunday nights. And I'm looking at the standings and I'm like, man, I kind of thought the Jets were out of it. I was ready a few weeks. Oh, the Jets are done. They're not coming back. But suddenly the Jets are looking and saying, hey, what about us? They've won 3 in a row. So they're in the midst of an 8-game homestand. They've won the first 3 games of the homestand. So you look at the Jets, to me, they have to win at least 4 of the next 5. And so they play the Ducks tomorrow, then the Rangers, the real tough one. They've got the Avalanche on Saturday. Then they play the Blues on Sunday, and then Nashville next Tuesday. So 3 of those teams are non-playoff teams, the Rangers, the Blues, and the Preds. If you want to make the playoffs, you got to win those 3 games. And then can you split and win one of the Anaheim or Colorado games? Like, it's not crazy to think that they would wake up on the morning of the 18th and you could look and say, okay, they go 4-1. Now they're up to 70 points. So what happens to Seattle in that time? They're not going to gain all of the points, I don't think, in one 10-day span. But a little bit of the Jets, they need some help for sure. And they got to play very well. But yeah, I can't say they're out of it. I can't do it yet because I don't have that much faith in the Seattle Kraken. That's really because they're the team right now that's in the 8-hole in the Western Conference. And I haven't been a huge believer in the Kraken all year long. Right? Like they lost their last 2 home games to St. Louis and they got spanked by Ottawa on Saturday night. Now they've got the Preds. Then they play on Colorado. You got Vancouver. That's a game they probably should win. Tampa Bay at home, Florida. Then they go on the road and they finish like they're on the road for an extended. It's a weird road trip. They have 6 games, but it's 6 games spread out over 2.5 weeks. And I know that, that's good. They never play back-to-back. It's true. But players don't love being on the road that long when you're not doing anything. It's a weird road trip. I don't know if I've ever seen a team that's on a 6-game road trip that in the middle of it twice they have 2 days off. So they'll leave Seattle on the 18th, right? Because then they got to get to Nashville. They play Nashville on the 19th. Then they're in the Columbus on the 21st. And they have 2 days off. Then they're in Florida on the 24th, Tampa on the 26th, Buffalo on the 28th. So first of all, like they're playing the 2 top teams in the East. Then they go from Buffalo. They have 2 days off. And guess where they come for the 6th game of that road trip? To Edmonton. Take on the Oilers. Right? Then they're home. They got Utah, tough game. Chicago, they play the Jets once. So that's good for the Jets that you at least get 1 game head-to-head against them. So I don't love Seattle's schedule. They also end the schedule with their last 2 games of the season in Vegas and Colorado back-to-back. So, yeah, Seattle doesn't have an overly easy schedule. So, yeah, could the Jets make up 5 points in 20 games? I think they can. Right? They've made up 3 points in their last 10. Now they have to make up 5 in their next 20 on Seattle. It's very doable. Very doable. I can't count out the Jets. Hey, Greggs, why do I still know Mike Bishai's name 20 years later? Exactly, Ryan. Exactly. Right? We were talking about emotional games that stick with you, and that's one that definitely sticks with you for sure. So we'll see. The Jets, who knows, man? Who knows? When we come back, Dan Dunleavy, speaking of emotional, man, like you're a fan base. I'd have to ask him, when was the last time the Sabres had this emotional of a game in the regular season? I know in the 2006 playoffs, right? Like that was a great run for them. It's too bad they got so banged up with their defense. They might have faced the Oilers in the Cup final. Honestly, they might have been able to beat Carolina if they weren't down to, I think they're down to like their 11th or 12th defenseman. Like it was crazy how many injuries they had that year. So we'll talk about the Bruins. Then we'll get into a crazy day in the NFL. Like, I don't think we have enough time to list off every free agent signing, but there's been a lot of them. So we'll update you on quite a few of those. Which teams did you like for the biggest splash? We'll get to that and more. But first, the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. If you're looking for help on your vehicle, from tires to wheels to oil change, vehicle repairs, they have you all covered, even with their digital vehicle report. They'll tell you what your car needs, and they'll show you. FountainTire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
5 games on the NHL schedule today. After 40 minutes out in Columbus, Jackets and Kings tied at 3 apiece. Later tonight, Flyers host the Rangers, Flames take on the Caps, Blackhawks hosting the Mammoth and the Sens in Vancouver. In the association, Caps taking on the Sixers, and the Nuggets and the Thunder. Jazz host the Warriors, Knicks in Los Angeles, and the Nets up against the Grizz. From the NFL, day 1 of the legal tampering period. Alex Pierce staying with the Colts, 4 years, $116 million. Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker III heading to Kansas City on a 3-year deal worth $45 million. And the Dolphins releasing quarterback Tua Tagovailoa and give Malik Willis a 3-year contract with $67 million. Looking like Tua will take his talents to Atlanta on a 1-year contract. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Dan Dunleavy, voice of the Buffalo Sabres. We'll look around the NFL with Bill Bender from the Sporting News and ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440.
Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great, but you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium one-topping pizza for only $6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular menu price.
Ali, this is
Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's with a $6 one-top medium when you order any large specialty at regular menu price. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, Common thermostat, do what you're told.
It's an afternoon game.
Turn up the cold.
Southern.
Reaching out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a new from Legacy. Oh, yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. March Madness.
A pizza from Papa John.
If you've been waiting to get into a new or used vehicle, now is the time. This is a mega sale. Plus, the grand opening of our all-new indoor showroom. No iPads, no patio sets, no trips to Vegas.
YouTube, Facebook,
just
X,
a good deal. So stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're Northgate country.
Did you know the Brick is proudly Canadian owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a brick store near you.
Commissioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Heavy Truck Auction is this Thursday at 9 a.m. with tandem and single axle trucks, including tractors, decks, dumps, man lifts, plows, vacs, pickers, refuse, and shunt trucks, plus more. Info at maauctions.com. Commissioner Allen Auctioneering's 3-day Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, dozers, digger derrick, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
Budget 2026 is focused on what matters. With record investments in healthcare and education and a plan to keep our economy strong. This means better access to doctors and nurses, plus 50,000 more surgeries over 3 years. It also means hiring more teachers and building or renovating more than 160 schools, all while keeping taxes low and growing the economy. Budget 2026, focused on what matters. Visit alberta.ca/budget. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips, we fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4 o'clock, we roll through Monday afternoon. There is NHL action, a rare Monday afternoon game, as they had to reschedule this game for the Kings and the Blue Jackets, and it is 3-3. The Blue Jackets are down 2-0, then they scored 3 in a row, and then the Kings scored late in the second period. Adrian Kempe had his 24th, and now they are tied at 3 early in the third, and the Kings are on the power play. So did you see that the Kings, the two guys, the former Oilers they traded, Corey Perry scored in his first game, Warren Foegele scored in his first game. So, but not against their former teams. Just thought you'd want to know. Let's talk some hockey because, man, it was a crazy weekend in the NHL. It is the Gregor Show, is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Remind you to you can get your tickets Lotto Max, $25 million for tomorrow's draw. Also, Jason Gregor Show specials for tonight. We got the Senators. Hey, the Sens are rolling. Like, come on, how can you not pick the Sens against the Vancouver Canucks? You kidding me? And a little Clippers and OKC things that we like. So check that out at playalberta.ca. As it is time now to go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's, and the NHL Star Sticks are back. Get one of 7 mini sticks with every Star Sticks meal and collect all of your favorite players, including McDavid, for a limited time at McDonald's. As we are joined by Dan Dunleavy in Buffalo, probably the game of the regular season in the NHL yesterday. It had everything. If you wanted goals, it had goals. If you wanted fights, it had fights. If you wanted emotion, it had emotion. The crowd was going crazy. It was back and forth. It was just like a old-fashioned slugfest, literally and figuratively, Dan, both on the scoreboard and in the back alley sort of thing. And, man, Buffalo fans have not been witness to a game like that. As the voice, you've called a lot of their games. Can you remember the last time a regular season game was that highly charged from beginning to end?
No, it hasn't happened in Buffalo since I've been there. It's my 13th year. We've had emotional nights with, Rick Jenneret's retirement and last game after his 51 years of broadcasting. We've had nights of tributes to players, Ryan Miller, Rob Ray, that have had emotion to them. But when it's been specifically about the team on the ice and the game for what it meant in the standings after, years and years of not getting close to where the team wanted to get and continually being a top 10 draft team, no, it just hasn't happened. That was definitely a first.
Oh, it was wild, man. Right, really from the get-go, and I loved it. And the Tampa Bay Lightning, hey, they're a championship team, and they're a team that I felt like they wanted to say, hey, is Buffalo going to match to us? And the Sabres did, and the Sabres were winning early, and then you thought, uh-oh, Tampa's experience, it's an emotional game, and now they got the best of them. But then I felt, as good as it was to stand up in the alley, the fact that they came back and scored the 3 goals to win that game 8-7, like what a morale boost, but also just like a team come together game for the Sabres.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, a bit of the backstory, I know you're probably aware of it. I don't know how many people in Alberta are aware of the first time last Saturday when these two teams met in Tampa. The Sabres won that game 6-2. It definitely got away from the Lightning, and the Sabres were not rubbing it in, but they were certainly working their offense, their transition, their speed. And it was towards the end of that game that Tampa started to initiate what we saw carry over into this game. Now, you never knew if it would carry over to that extent, but the players certainly were aware that there was a chance there would be some form of carryover. And exactly what you mentioned is the reasoning. Tampa is the team that is closest, obviously, to having won a Stanley Cup championship. Still perhaps might be in the minds of many closer to having a chance to get back there. So they're trying to flex some muscle experience that they have and try to draw a young Sabres team into a battle and see if they can get them in over their heads. I mean, it's a coach. I think any coach would do the same thing. To your point, back home in front of a crowd that was salivating for a game like that was salivating for a team to hate, a rivalry to renew. It just hasn't been there for 15 years in Buffalo. And the Tampa Bay Lightning, they brought it. They tested the Sabres. The Sabres answered the test on both nights. And as you said, it's brought the team together. The other thing that brought the team together, too, is seeing what Jarmo Kekalainen did at the trade deadline and the type of players he brought into the team. And I know you might be bringing that up, so I won't go too far into it. But that's played a role in the fans' understanding of what this young, fast team that all of a sudden has gone from last to first in the Atlantic Division, what their potential is. It's one thing to go on a run and wonder how long it can last, but it just keeps on going, and they just keep on winning. And even if they lose one, they don't lose 2 or 3 in a row, and they haven't lost 2 in a row since before December 9th. So they've got definitely an energy here. And Rasmus Dahlin did mention after the game, and so did Alex Tuck and Doan after the game as well. Really, if it wasn't for the fans staying in the game, they might not have been able to have that muster to come back late in the third, because I can tell you, we've had games where the Sabres have been in them. Against Colorado, I can remember up big on the Avalanche at home. The Avalanche stormed back and they win the game. And what was an arena full of cheers and fun one moment turned to just booing the team off the ice the next. So when they got tested against Tampa in this game, the fans didn't boo. They didn't leave. They stayed and they cheered and they willed the team on. And the guys mentioned that. So that's a big part of it. And because you're seeing some hockey in the barns out in Alberta there over the last few years where that type of vibe does kind of carry into the team's legs.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Now, you mentioned the guys they brought in. Sam Carrick, man, I'm not sure there's a guy in the NHL who constantly fights above his weight class all the time.
I know.
And does pretty well. But they brought him in, to add a little grease, but more so to win faceoffs. Because if every team has a weakness, and the one Sabres weakness is winning faceoffs. And Carrick's a 54% guy. He'll probably end up taking, a ton of draws for them moving forward. But so he comes in, and it's easy for him to get in the lineup. I do know that, I'm assuming the only reason that the big man wasn't in the lineup on the back end for Buffalo and Logan Stanley is just probably because the work visa, correct? And so how soon before that gets sorted out?
Well, first of all, you are correct. Both he and Luke Shed and Tanner Pearson, all of them have to get their visa sorted out. It's depth and balance for Buffalo that they need in the lineup, and for Logan Stanley in particular. And I don't want to write Luke Shed out of it because the man's a house, and you put him in front of the net. And if you want to start tossing Rasmus Dahlin around, you're going to have to talk to him about it. So the answer to your question as to when, I can only go off what Lindy Ruff mentioned yesterday. They're working on it, and I'm not sure how fast that stuff gets done, especially in these days. But I would assume that the team is hopeful that you can get Logan, and if you need Luke or Tanner in the lineup, that's going to happen at some point this week. I don't even want to guess on the date for you because I really don't have an answer.
Yeah, okay. It's disappointing. But, man, Stanley is definitely going to add a lot. Not only is he big, but, man, he's having a great year for the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah.
He comes in, and Buffalo, I think, could make a strong case. They might have the best defense score 1 through 6 in the NHL.
Yeah, it's certainly deep now. I mean, the way, Matthias Samuelson's career has taken a real big turn. He's healthy. Rasmus Dahlin, who is a constant target. It's funny, I had Kenny Daniels from the Red Wings broadcast. We're texting back and forth today, and he's like, what did Rasmus Dahlin do to everybody? I said, he's the guy that carries the puck out of the zone. He's the target. That's who people go after. Brad Marchand started it when Rasmus was a rookie. He went after him from game number 1, and it hasn't stopped. Then you go to Bo Byram, of course, who's still with the team and signed a 2-year deal. He can skate. He gets involved in the offense. And yesterday he was wrestled to the ice, and he's a BC kid and a hunter, and he wrestled his way back on top of Dash 2 and started throwing haymakers. So, they brought the fight out of him, which was good to see. Owen Power, obviously it's been a learning curve for a young guy, but I don't care. Listen, Schaefer's having a good year. So did Tyler Myers as a rookie. At some point as a young defenseman, people are going to figure you out, and you got to kind of relearn your game. So hopefully a young guy like Schaefer maybe doesn't go through that. But for Owen Power, it's kind of been this constant learning curve. He's bigger. He's stronger. His game has gotten a lot better. So, yeah, when you look at top to bottom for the Sabres right now, they're certainly not disappointed in their defense. And that's full credit to Jarmo to adding a guy like Stanley and adding the depth like Luke Shen on that back end, where, say a guy like Kesselring, who's been playing a bit banged up this year in his first year in Buffalo, maybe doesn't have to play every game, and you can kind of nurse little things that pop up with guys here and there in the last month of the season.
Dan Dunleavy joins us. Dan, the Sabres, obviously we know that, since December 1st, are the best team in the NHL. And their GM got let go. I think it was on the 14th. I can't remember the exact date. But so they had started to play well even before they made that decision. But usually you might get a coaching bump. What changed? Why did the Sabres go? Because I looked at it, they were dead last in the Eastern Conference after 25 games. And you're thinking, oh, here we go again. What changed?
Well, I mean, the general manager did change, and he's full credit, Kevin Adams, for bringing in the players he brought in. They're the guys that have turned this around. Every time Rob Ray, our color analyst, and I would talk, I would say, look, a lot of this, I'm a players guy, but I put it on the players. I mean, it's up to them how hard they want to compete and dial into the message. And Lindy Ruff as a coach hasn't changed his message from day one since he got back here in Buffalo. So unless Kevin was going in the room and telling him how to coach, I can't see Lindy letting that happen either. So I think generally any change is something that had to happen just because something wasn't working. And eventually, I can't speak for the ownership and the people running the rest of the hockey department, but they figured that the change of the general manager position was important. You had Jarmo Kekalainen here, who had been around as an advisor. He'd been watching and kind of just taking his own notes on what he sees with this team. And, it's interesting that as he approached the deadline, his notes, obviously, based on how the team is playing, led him to say, I don't want to break up this room at the deadline, even though I want to acquire some pieces. So there's full credit to Kevin for bringing these guys in here. And then I think the guys just kind of took it upon themselves and say, look, it's up to us to have fun at the rink, come to work every day. It's up to us to put the effort in. We've had a general manager change. What's next? They're going to fire the coach. Then what's next? They're going to start trading players. And then life's not good for anybody. And we've always had people come to Buffalo and say, there's so much talent on this team. I don't get why it's not working. And nobody really could understand why it wasn't working. So, I think it's just one of those fate things that was the change that kind of triggered everyone to say, hey, let's get to work here. While we're together, let's do something. And I'm not going to rest lightly on the things that our best scorer, Tage Thompson, has accomplished in his career over the last year, winning a gold at the World Hockey Championships and scoring that gold medal, winning gold, and then being a member of Team USA in that game, of course, that crushed Canadian hockey fans' hearts, and me being a Canadian as well. But Tage, that stuff is in him now, and you can see it, and he's leading with it. And Rasmus Dahlin is already a leader. So Jason Zucker, it's just, we're getting goaltending now. It's just all coming together. So to put it on one guy, I think it would be unfair. I think it's really fair to say that the entire team took it upon themselves to say, let's go to work. And that's what they've been doing.
A few players I want to talk about since December 1st, when the team has really blossomed. Zach Metza. Now, I know he hasn't played a ton, Dan, but he hasn't been on the ice for one goal against since December 1st.
Yeah, he's a 5-on-5 genius, isn't he?
It's wild.
Yeah, he's he's one of the players that was always told he's too small. The story of you don't have the size to play in the NHL, but man, does he have the heart, and he's feisty. And I've not been in the gym with him, but I've told him if you see him taking his gear off and working out in the gym, the guy is steel. He's iron. He's cut. He's ripped. He's strong. So he's strong mentally, strong physically. He's a smart player. To your point, he doesn't put himself in any positions where he's overwhelmed. Last night was a good test. I'm glad he saw that. I'm glad Noah Ostlund saw it, another young player, first-time full NHL season player for Buffalo up from the American League. Those are games that those guys, I guarantee, it doesn't matter what level you played at, and said, oh, yeah, I played in the championship game before. Yeah, but did you play a team like Tampa on a night like last night before? And nobody did. So it was great that they went through it. It'll be interesting to see how the ice time is divvied up going forward, and when springtime gets here, if the Sabres do finish this job off and get to where they hope they're going, because you've got experience now bringing in guys that if it does become too much in certain situations, you can lean on some guys like Luke and Logan that have been there before. So it's nice to have.
Yeah, well, it's just amazing. He hasn't beat on the ice for a goal against at 5-on-5 since October 24th. Like I know he hasn't.
He's always looking up ice.
Yeah,
every time he gets the puck, he's never looking down at the puck. To me, first thing I noticed was he receives the puck with his head up, and then he's looking. And I know it's such a small thing, and it's coached all the time, but he does it every time. He's never looking down at his feet, which is when most times you'll notice, oh, this guy's in trouble because he can't find the puck, right? So, and then he gets rid of it right away. He doesn't log the puck into a danger area. He just gets the puck on his stick, finds a forward, and if the forward's not there, he's putting it up the boards, and he's fine. So.
Yeah. No, it's just it's a unique little stat. You don't see that very often from any player in the league.
Yeah.
So when you go 30 straight games without being on the ice or a goal against, that's something to be applauded with for sure. So, lastly, just about, Dan, it's been a long time, and Edmonton knows a little bit. They were a decade of darkness, and the Sabres are a decade and a half, but it's over. They're going to make the playoffs. They could finish first, not only in the division, but in the conference. Like they They are playing very good hockey. Just the excitement level of Sabres fans has to be, you mentioned you're there 13 years, so obviously you've never been in the playoffs and the Sabres are there, so it's going to be a wild time. And I've joked about it, and I said, honestly, if there was one game that I would go to, I'd want to fly to Buffalo for the first home game of the playoffs because you got 15 years of pent-up emotion from the fans that's going to get let out in the building that night.
Well, I'm sure you saw some of the fans leaving the building on social media last night. So, despite all the rage, I'm still just a rat in the cage. Yeah, that kind of emotion came out with all the fans last night. Listen, it's not just a Sabres thing, right? It's a frustration with what a good Bills team has gone through and heartbreak. This city is waiting for a team to have a run and have a reason to celebrate a victory. And I think everything that's not gone on for the Sabres, and it didn't go even the Bills' way over the last couple playoff seasons, it was vented last night. And you're right. Look, when I got here, there's been many stories that the players and Lindy Ruff talk about last time when they were on their winning runs and getting to cup finals, and just when teams that were motoring back 05-06 season, that they could feel the building shake when they were in their offices away from the rink, away from the ice surface. And last night you started to feel that. I mean, it just was absolutely rowdy in a good way. So I would advise you to book your flight pretty soon and get a seat early. And by the way, my wife's sitting in the car with me here before we get out. And every time you're mentioning you're going to the playoffs, she's pumping her fist like crazy. So you're getting her all fired up here.
Well, it's going to be great, Dan. It should be a lot of fun. We look forward to it. And the race for first place down the stretch for the Sabres and the Lightning should be a happy one. And I'm telling you right now, people are marking it on their calendar. If you're not there, you'll be watching the rematch of the Sabres and the Lightning, because if anything, there'll be fireworks. We know that, because both teams will be battling for first, and both aren't going to want to give up an inch. So it should be awesome. Can't wait for it. Appreciate your time, and enjoy the rest of the year.
Thanks for calling. Have fun out in Alberta. Thanks.
Appreciate it. That's Dan Dunleavy, voice of the Sabres. They're a fun team to watch, man. I got the NHL package. There's certain teams that, like, honestly, I can't remember. Like, I like Tage Thompson, and you kind of felt for the Sabres for a while, but I'm telling you, their games are highly entertaining. Like, Rasmus Dahlin is legit. Tage Thompson out. Like, they got a lot of players you like. And now you throw in some more added size on their back end, and Logan Stanley. Their goaltending's playing well. Their depth guys are playing well. Ryan McLeod is on fire for the Buffalo Sabres. Since December 1st, he's plus 23. Just since plus 28 since December 1st. He's been great. And then the Zach Metza stat. How's a guy go 30 games and not be on the ice for 1 goal against 5-on-5? That's pretty impressive. We'll take a quick break. We'll return. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
A pizza from Papa John's is already pretty great, but you know what's even better? 2 pizzas from Papa John's. For a limited time, get a medium 1-topping pizza for only $6 when you order any large specialty pizza at regular menu price. Whether you're feeding your family, your team, or yourself, get your next meal from your locally owned and operated Papa John's with a $6 1-top medium when you order any large specialty at regular menu price. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier specialty charter companies. With our luxury motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation services. Our seatbelt equipped top-of-the-line motor coaches have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel needs across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fan. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
It's the iconic Jasper Ave Patty Party. That's on the rocks. We're turning Jasper Avenue green.
Your 5-day St. Patty's Day party kicks off Friday at OTR.
With live entertainment every day.
Including the Feelin' Lucky burlesque show on Sunday.
Plus pipers, Irish dancers, and doors open at 9 a.m. on the 17th.
We got more green beer than Marco has fancy shirts. And trust me, that's a lot.
Lucky the Leprechaun will be there.
Will you?
It's the iconic Jasper Ave Patty Party. That's on the rocks. Next round's on me. Woohoo!
I'm tired of waking up tired.
Waking up tired.
Yeah, waking up tired.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
Portions of this hour brought to you by EWEL, helping you finish your electrical project is their goal. From pot lights to electrical panels, the gear you need is at ewel.ca or in person in one of their Edmonton area locations. ewel.ca, your partners in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.430, welcome back. Connor Halley, Jason Gregor, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. It's always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. And another entertaining game, matinee going on right now as the LA Kings, Brian Dumoulin, his second goal of the year, midway through the third, and now they lead Columbus 4-3 as both of those teams are currently on the outside looking in. So this is a big game as both are trying to get themselves back into the playoffs. Columbus has 73 points. This is their game in hand on Boston. They lose it, they're still 3 back. Meanwhile, the LA Kings, this is they don't have a game in hand. But they're 3 points back of Seattle. They win, and they're within 2 points of the Seattle Kraken. And they would move to within 4 points of the Oilers with the game in hand. So it's tight in the Pacific Division. And is also pretty tight here in the NFL as free agency began today, and lots of signings. As we get to our NFL report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter at legacyheating.ca. Bill Bender, senior NFL writer for the Sporting News, joins us. And Bill, no shortage of signings today in the NFL. It's early, but is there a signing or two that you really like as a good fit for the player and also the cost?
I mean, Kenneth Walker got my attention because, that the Chiefs, what have we said about the running game the last couple of years? It's kind of ordinary, you know what I mean? And, does this open the door for the Chiefs to sign Jeremiah or draft Jeremiah Love and get that going, thunder and lightning around Patrick Mahomes, which would be amazing in some levels. So I think that's one that caught my eyes. Obviously, a lot of things Miami's doing with Tua, and then sounds like they're going to get Malik Willis, who, I'm a Packers fan, so it sounded like Green Bay South is happening with the Miami Dolphins in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I don't know, what do you make of Malik? And, can he be better than Tua?
Well, transition quarterback at worst, right? So he goes there, and it was kind of a mirage. I'll tell you this, when he played for Green Bay last year and the year before, I mean, he stepped in some critical moments when Jordan Love got hurt both times and played very well. I mean, showed a skill set, was probably the guy that we thought he would be when he was drafted out of Liberty to the Titans. So if you get that guy, great. If you don't, I would rather draft a quarterback next year. When you're looking at Trinidad Chambliss, possibly Arch Manning, Julian Sayin, the options, it's a deeper quarterback class than what we have this year, where I think only 2 of these guys are going to go in the first round.
Yeah, no, that's fair. You mentioned Kenneth Walker, and now speaking of Seattle, they just announced that Rashid Shaheed is coming back 3 years, $51 million, so he'll stay in Seattle. I was a little surprised when I look at what if you would have franchise tagged Walker, it would have only cost him $14 million. And I know that, the Seahawks make a lot of really good decisions. Why do you think they opted not to franchise him?
They must have a plan, whether it's Charbonnet who left. I mean, maybe they go after the draft. And, they got Walker and Charbonnet at value picks when they drafted them. And I know from watching Big Ten football, I mean, when Charbonnet was at Michigan before UCLA, he did very well. Walker I was talking with one of my editors today. I was reminiscing about how good he really was at Michigan State. So, yeah, I don't know the reasoning behind it, but I would say that they probably have a plan at running back. And, I guess a detractor from what I was saying earlier could say, well, it's a splash signing for the Chiefs, but do you really want to spend that much on a running back? That kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe. It just seems a little wild to me. What about Trey Hendrickson? Where do you think he goes?
I'm talking that through with some of my buddies that root for the Bengals at least. And what do they want? The Bears. I thought the Bears were going to be in the market for Max Crosby, and that didn't happen. Somewhere like that, or a team that's looking for that piece. I think the Bears were the first team that came to mind, but I really don't know beyond that. I mean, I do know that I would guess that his Cincinnati time is short because, I mean, we went through this. We can't do this another year with Trey Hendrickson, right? Will he or won't he with the Bengals? You'd be there or not be there. And it sounds like it's time for him to move elsewhere.
Yeah, and that's probably not a huge surprise. I don't think. I think everybody kind of expected it. Free agency. You mentioned that it's you're a Packers guy, and free agency isn't always the best place to go hunt, shopping and build your team. Maybe if you're missing a piece, the Chiefs wanted to upgrade the running back, and I think a lot of people feel that Kenneth Walker can be a good running back, no question. But you look at the Packers per se. And they did acquire Franklin via trade, and they've retained their 2 offensive linemen in Ryan and Kennard. What else do you think the Packers, what areas should they be looking to improve? And do you think they'll wait for the draft? Or they might still do more in free agency?
Well, even though they don't have a first-round pick, I think they're going to go D-line and probably go young. I mean, they obviously, Wooten's gone. Rashawn Gary's going to be gone. They're not re-signing Kiki. So they've got some holes on the defensive line that I think they can go young. And it feels like a draft where they were going to do that on day 2 and maybe pick up somebody, to build around Mike Parsons. I really think, and this is not a popular take, but I bet you some Green Bay fans would follow this. I think before Parsons' injury, I was also worried when they lost Devontae Wyatt. He had emerged as a really good player on the interior for them last year. So, they got to build around those 2 guys, and they definitely need corners. I mean, that's something to look for in the draft. If they need a position of need, those corners were definitely the weak point of that defense last year.
The Denver Broncos, maybe an injury away from going to the Super Bowl. Some felt like, hey, maybe they weren't that good. Well, they lost their coordinators. What do you make of the Broncos, and how repeatable is their season?
I mean, if Bo Nix doesn't go down, they probably are in the Super Bowl, I think. Because Jared Stidham, I mean, they were right there. And maybe with Bo, they go. I think, I don't know about you, I don't see a tremendous area of need. Oh, yeah, you upgrade a receiver or go at the offensive line, but they're pretty good on both sides of the ball. Their defense was absolutely nasty getting after the pass rusher. So I think it's one of those luxury drafts, luxury free agencies that Sean Payton can get the right guys because they were close last year. I still think they might have won the game, as strange as it sounds, had the weather not got out of control in the second half.
Yeah, I look at the Broncos and I think we saw it with Detroit. They lost their coordinator and they weren't the same, right? And now that's one team; it doesn't guarantee it the same. And it kind of depends on where you view the Broncos. I think their defense is legit good. I still have question marks though about their offense.
That's fair, and they're obviously in a tough division too. I mean, the Chargers are I don't know what the Chargers ceiling is with Jim Harbaugh, but I know as long as he's the coach there and they have Herbert and the pieces around him, that they'll be in the playoff hunt. I'm getting try this one on you. You may laugh me off the air. I kind of like what the Raiders did with Crosby. Get more draft picks to build around. If you're going to draft Fernando Mendoza, think about that. They're going to have Fernando Mendoza, Ashton Gianti, and Brock Bowers. That's pretty. I mean, I cover college football. Those are elite guys on the college level. And if they can continue to build like that, maybe they moneyball it and become a team that can actually compete for the playoffs. It's been so long since the Raiders were a factor in the AFC. I actually kind of want to see it again.
Well, hey, yeah. Speaking of the Raiders, what did you make of the Max Crosby trade, and how big of a win do you think this is for the Ravens?
It's a bold move by the Ravens, which they're not known for. Derrick Henry signing, sure, but I mean, Derrick Henry was available. Now they're going with Max on the other side of the ball. That is a huge signing for them, and you see in that division where Barrett and Watt and, the Bengals, they're the one team that didn't really have a good defense. But with Trey, they have one of those guys. Now Baltimore brings him in. And I think this is a huge year for Jesse Mentor. They bring him in to replace Harbaugh after the disappointment last year in the defense. You're putting Crosby, Kyle Hamilton. They've got a lot of big-time players on both sides of the ball. And what's going to be a prove-it year because – according to the reports, the players were the one that were kind of tired of the Harbaugh thing. So big year for Jesse Mentor, who, by the way, comes off the Harbaugh coaching tree. So it's kind of confusing.
We're looking at NFL free agency with Bill Bender of the Sporting News. Bill, I just want to ask you about Alec Pierce. Obviously, last year his yards per catch were outstanding, over 20. He gets paid very handsomely to stay with the Colts. How much more do you think he can elevate his game? Because he did just get his first 1,000-yard season this past season, barely.
I think he's an example of a player who develops within an offense. You knew he had the speed. He's a good downfield threat, like you mentioned, and he paired well with the quarterback. He's had some bad quarterbacks in Indy too, but he's the one guy that can really stretch the field for them. Did they overpay? Maybe a little. But, I think if they like the guy, it's better to retain that guy than maybe chase a receiver. I'm still kind of, not to change the subject, but I'm still kind of like, how do I feel about Mike Evans and the 49ers? It's just, Mike Evans is that guy in fantasy football that gets you 1,000 yards every year, but it's kind of a boring path getting there.
That was going to be my next question, actually, about what you thought about him going to Sam. No, it's kind of interesting because, obviously they'll be making some changes, and for him bouncing back from injury will be an interesting one to see. Is there any free agent out there on the market still that you think might quietly have a nice market waiting for them, maybe in the second wave?
Well, I mean, the quarterback wave is happening. So I'm wondering, it did in the time we were on the phone here, Geno Smith hasn't gone anywhere, right? Or Kirk Cousins. They're like kind of, that first wave of quarterbacks goes, and then you start to wonder where's he going to go. And Geno, serviceable backup, and I think somebody that I thought might have fit at Minnesota in terms of if you want to take a backup quarterback, or for this battle with JJ, you want to take a guy that's going to push him maybe, but if you win that job, that means JJ, you missed big on a first round pick, but I guess that general manager's gone. So what does it matter?
Bill, just one more for me here, and I just want to look ahead to the draft here. Good. Jason and I were talking about this a little bit earlier. If you are the Raiders and you guys highlighted some of the moves they've made, it pains me to say it, but I think they've had a really good day with all these players that they've brought in, especially on the defensive side of the football. If you take Fernando Mendoza, is there any temptation to bring in a vet and let him sit for a year, or do you think he has to be starting QB1 from day one?
I think you at least bring in a vet to help bring them along. And we are in that day and age now where the quarterbacks start on day one. So, like, what are we doing, right? Like, why would we bring in another backup? But I think a Kirk Cousins type, somebody like that can help him make that transition. I really like Fernando Mendoza. I do. What he's done in Indiana in the last 2 years or last year, the Heisman and the accuracy he just throws. He's so accurate. And his personality is going to be an interesting fit in the NFL, but I think it's going to be awesome. I can't find anything wrong with him. But, yes, I would bring in a veteran. He's going to have good pieces around him, and I would draft offensive linemen. That's a quarterback's best friend. You already got the tight end and the running back. Go get him some offensive linemen, maybe a number one receiver. I'm telling you, in a couple of years, that Raiders offense could be pretty good. It's been a while.
Oh, it's been a while for sure. So we shall see. Thanks so much for your time, man. We appreciate it. Enjoy the craziness of the rest of the week. See who signs where in the NFL.
I will. Thanks so much for having me on, guys. Talk to you next time.
I bet you. There's Bill Bender joining us. So a big day in the National Football League. Lots of players signing different places. Cons will recap through all the some of the top ones. Later on, Kenneth Walker is now a member of the Chiefs. That's probably one of the biggest ones. If you missed it over the weekend, Max Crosby traded to the Baltimore Ravens. So that's kind of a outside the box move by them. Travis Etienne also leaving in free agency, no longer with the Jags. So we'll get into all that and more coming up. We got 5 questions as well on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
When life unexpectedly changes, it can leave us feeling unbalanced, uncertain, and unsure of how to move forward. But you don't have to go through it alone. I'm Corey Anderson with Fairway Divorce Solutions. Our team helps reestablish balance, guiding you through your divorce with compassion, clarity, and support. Fairway has helped more than 6,500 families across Canada find a path towards a peaceful, fair resolution. With 2 offices in Edmonton, we're here to make your journey easier. Discover your options at Fairway Divorce.
Did you know the Brick is proudly Canadian-owned and operated? We started right here in Canada over 50 years ago. Now, our 5,000 team members are proud to be your neighbor in more than 200 communities across Canada. And we support all Canadians with a growing selection of quality-made Canadian products and manufacturers. Nobody knows more about furnishing Canadian homes at the guaranteed lowest price than us. The Brick, saving you more.
Visit thebrick.com and use our store locator to find a Brick store near you.
Do you listen to sports radio at work? Like right now? Well, do you?
Who, me? No way. I swear.
Okay, friend, we won't tell. Tens of thousands of sports fans listen to Sports 1440 each and every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. If you listen to Sports 1440 at work, well, maybe it's time to advertise on Sports 1440 at work. Grow your business, get your name out there. Shoot our ad team an email, Gregor@sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. Use code 1440 for 15% off at notalonecode.com. It's okay to not be okay.
Portions of this hour brought to you by 01 Athletic Care. Injuries don't wait, and neither should you. 01 Athletic Care offers one-stop access to doctors, x-rays, and casting. It's expert musculoskeletal care covered by Alberta Health right here in West Edmonton Mall. Move on from injury to recovery. 01.ca. That's ZERONE.ca.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Marchenko ties it in the final 2 minutes, and now they're going to overtime. The Blue Jackets and the LA Kings as both teams chasing in the East and West playoff races. They both come in, ninth place for the, technically 10th for the LA Kings and ninth place for the Blue Jackets. So now they're up to 74 points. So at worst, they're going to finish the day 2 points back of Boston. They get this win, they're one back, baby, of the Bruins. And they're also would be two back of the Islanders with a game in hand. And they would be four back of the Penguins. So, playoff races, they are heating up. And you look at the Oilers and the importance of that win last night to be in regulation over Vegas. That's the key now is you want to win games, but now the Kings and Blue Jackets are different because now if you're the Kings and you lose this game in overtime, yeah, you cost yourself a point because you were winning up until what was there, a minute and 55 seconds left when they tied it. So every game is important now and fun to watch for sure. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. Furniture, mattresses, appliances, big screen TVs, beds, mattresses, you name it, they got it at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1. Looking at the Pacific and throw points out the window, if you were ranking the teams today, 1, 2, 3, which order would you have them in?
Go ahead.
I think I'm going to give the top spot to the Anaheim Ducks, playing good hockey right now. 7-3 in their last 10, despite losing the last game out. I know right now Vegas in second spot in the standings, but I'll give that spot to the Oilers. And I know they haven't been playing their best hockey, just seeing those teams go head to head. And when the Oilers are playing that defensive brand and doing what they did to Vegas, I think they, signs to me, it's encouraging. Maybe they start to turn it around here. So I'll go Anaheim, Oilers, and then Vegas.
I'm still sticking with Edmonton for a few reasons. Edmonton has 3 more regulation wins than the Ducks. Edmonton is +9 goal for against. The Ducks are -10 goal for goals against. The big difference, the Ducks are 8-0 in the shootout. The Oilers don't have a shootout win all year long. So luckily for the Oilers, there's no shootouts in the playoffs. And so I'll say Edmonton, Anaheim, and Vegas.
Man, those Ducks can be super streaky too. So they start playing bad. Watch out. Question number 2 for you. When you see this version of Trent Frederick, is he the player that you think the Oilers will get in the majority of his contract?
Well, you hope so. I can't read the future. If I could, I'd be getting a lottery ticket to PlayAlberta.ca. I'll tell you that. But Trent Frederick's game is pretty simple. What you see, what you get here in 6 games, that's what he's capable of. That's what he did for 2 full years in Boston. Then he got nicked up. And you know what? Do I think the high ankle sprain was an issue at the start of the season? No, because I talked to Trent about it multiple times. He said, no, I'm fine. And he scored in the 4th game of the year. But then he just lost his confidence. And I think lots of players will lose confidence. This was his first big contract. I think he probably put too much internal pressure on himself. And then it just snowballed and got worse and worse. And that 3-week break was probably like the best thing for him. You get away from hockey, you go do some stuff, talk to whoever, and hey, Trent, you're a good player. I don't know, and I'll talk to him when he gets back. Like, maybe he just went away from hockey completely, probably did. But when he got back, I would use positive reinforcement. Show him all the highlights. Here, look at this. This is what you did in Boston. Here's some good shifts. Not just scoring shifts, because you know what? Look how many shifts you have in a season you don't score. I just show him all his positive shifts because since he's come back, yes, he has 2 goals, kind of similar goals right in front of the net. But look at how many battles he's won along the boards and in the ice now. And now he has the puck more. His team has the puck more. He's not defending as much. So, and I guarantee you he feels better about his game. So I would hope to think it, but there's still 7 years left, man. Like it's a long time. So I can't say that with certainty.
Yeah, if he can just do this for 4.5 seasons, then that would be the majority. Yeah, I mean, I hope so for him. Like, I hope, the last little while here has been figuring it out. This is what I have to do to be effective because he has been good and he's getting rewarded for it. So I like you. I'm hoping so for the Oilers' sake, but it'll be tough. You got to stay healthy as well. That can derail things at times. Question number 3 for you. Was there a move in the NFL that stood out to you the most today?
Go ahead.
For me, I think the Miami Dolphins on both occasions with the quarterbacks. One thing, you're giving up on Tua Tagovailoa, which I don't think is a big surprise, but you do have to brace for that cap situation. $99 million for the next couple of years, 67 this year, and then next season, $31 million. That's a huge hit to take. And then going out there and giving a quarterback who hasn't had that many reps in Malik Willis, pretty nice little deal. That was to me, and I know it's probably going to be a struggle for the Dolphins the next couple of years here with all the moves they've had to make. But yeah, what they did today was pretty big.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll pick some different ones. I know the position is undervalued now, but I think it's really important, and it showed its importance this past year in the Super Bowl. I think Kenneth Walker is a huge get for the Kansas City Chiefs. They haven't had much consistency at that position in a few years. Now, it's not going to solve all the problems. I think they still need to improve their offensive line for sure, but I like that move for them. I'm just going to say the Tennessee Titans, not a favorite, but they made a lot of signings, Cons. I don't think they're going to age very well at all.
Desperation signings,
yes.
Yeah.
Very good word.
Kings win 5-4.
Ooh,
there you go. Question number 4 for you, since we are talking free agency today. In all of sports, do you have a favorite free agent signing for you? Well, your team or just one you thought really impacted the game?
Ooh. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I mean, there's the ones that pop off immediately. Anytime LeBron James goes anywhere is always massive, but I'll go NHL. How about Zdeno Chara signing with the Boston Bruins?
Oh, well, that did pay off big at ends.
Worked out pretty good. He was dominant, and yeah, I'll go with that one.
Well, he's honestly, when you look at free agents signings, that's probably got to be the biggest one. Panarin was big for the Rangers, and they had some success, but not to the success of the Boston Bruins. So, yeah, it's hard to argue a bigger signing for one team than that, right? He helped rebuild their defense, and 5 years later, they won the cup.
Oilers fans currently might say Hyman. Pretty good.
Hyman's been very, yes. He's been phenomenal because you look at the value of his contract right now. Like Zach Hyman, since December 1st, has the most goals in the NHL, 26. He has, since signing with the Oilers, I think he's 12th in 5-on-5 goals in the NHL in that time, right? And he's he ain't close to 12th most expensive forward. I can tell you, I'm not even sure he's in the top 50 right now. So yeah, that's a really good signing because he's being great, and it's actually being great, and it's a value signing on top of it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Final question for you today is National Napping Day. Under what circumstance, conditions, location, all that do you think is the best nap situation?
I love naps, man. I joke about it all the time, but I'm serious. I can't wait to retire because I'm gonna have a set nap time every day, and it's gonna be glorious. I can't wait. I'm probably excited about that more than anything else. I love naps. So for me though, I need a dark room. So you got the blackout blinds wherever you close the blind. Maybe you go in the basement of your home. The darker the room, the better. But I can nap, man. I can nap now. I can nap on the couch if I need to nap. To me, it's a mindset. I'm going to nap. I'm going to nap. And then I go down there and I'm ready to go. So ideal though, no distractions, nothing else around. I'm just napping.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of the couch nap with a murder mystery on. Just kind of the voice is very calming. Maybe a little rain outside, but one that I think is elite and I haven't had in a long time is the vacation. Whether it's Vegas and you're at the pool in the morning or Mexico, you're at the beach, wherever, Hawaii, and you get home and you nap before dinner. Maybe it's just an hour, a little lay down on the couch, cool down a little bit, turn the AC up. To me, that's an elite nap.
Oh, yeah. I love naps, man. They are the best. They are the best. Coming up, Mark Spector will join us here on Sports 1440. But first, let's get to the con man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. March Madness is on. No phony prizes, just a good old-fashioned deal. Not going to want to miss it. Check out the brand new Autoplex as well. Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC.
The Sports 1440 update.
5 games on the ice today in the NHL 1 final. The LA Kings beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 5-4 in overtime. Adrian Kempe's 25th of the season was the difference maker in that one. Getting going at 5, you got Flyers and the Rangers, followed by the Flames and Caps. Blackhawks host the Mammoth and the Sens in Vancouver. In the association, Sixers will take on the Cavaliers. You also got the Nets and the Grizz, Nuggets in OKC, Jazz up against the Warriors, and the Knicks in LA to take on the Clippers. From the NFL, with free agency's legal tampering period kicking off, wide receiver Alex Pierce staying with the Colts 4 years, $116 million. Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker III, he'll head to Kansas City to join the Chiefs on a 3-year deal worth $45 million, while Tua Tagovailoa released by the Dolphins, who would then sign Malik Willis to a 3-year deal worth $67 million. Tua going to head to Atlanta on a 1-year contract. The Panthers giving edge rusher Jalen Phillips a 4-year deal worth $120 million. Titans signed former Broncos defensive end John Franklin Myers to a 3-year contract, and Mike Evans heading to San Fran for 3 years. In the AJ tonight, Grand Prairie in Devon, puck drop at 7, and Paralympic action. Canada's sledge hockey team defeats Japan 14-0. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet, and here Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Are you looking for safe and professional transportation solutions for your group events and sports teams? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca. Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
NHL Star Sticks are back at McDonald's, and we're celebrating by going bigger.
Make that smaller, way smaller than ever before.
Collect the set and get one of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal. Featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, Makar, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeault. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
Summer, it's coming. An unstoppable force that will turn your home into the Sweatbox.
Don't live in a summer blockbuster. Pro Solutions is your locally owned expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. With fast appointments and flexible financing, we'll make sure your home story has a comfortable ending. AC season is coming soon, so book today.
Lock in free season pricing today.
Visit ProSolutionsInc.ca to schedule your service today.
Mission Rail and Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Heavy Truck Auction is this Thursday at 9 a.m. with tandem and single-axle trucks, including a special dispersal of 3 unused 2024 Kenworth T880 tandem cab and chassis trucks. Info at maauctions.com.
Any project, commercial or residential, when you need metal and you want it cut or bent fast, this is the place. Metal Supermarkets. Huge inventory, amazing service, and free parking. Free. That's a pretty big deal when you're saving up for something special. Yep, only 3 more payments and this bad boy's mine. And the 1, and the 2, and the Metal Supermarkets, the local convenience stores for and maybe a little polka too. Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's 3-day Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved equipment auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, dozers, digger derrick, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by CanTorque, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at CanTorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through Monday afternoon. As you make your way home, oh, it's nice out. No more darkness. Getting off work, so fantastic. Enjoy it. You got an early night. Of course, you might want to go to bed early. Oilers late game tomorrow, 8:00 start, Edmonton time, against the Colorado Avalanche. Then a little earlier into Dallas on Thursday and St. Louis on Friday. Then the Oilers return home, and their schedule becomes a lot more favorable. The Oilers have 6 home games after that, only 2 on the road in March, and then 4 and 3. So what is that, 10 and 5 the remainder of the way? So pretty good final sked for the Edmonton Oilers. Just got to find a way to get through this week. I said at the start, if they go 2-2, that'd be good. So they got the 1 win in Vegas. Now try to find a way to go maybe 1-1-1, end up going 2-1-1 with some tough games. Could be good. The Colorado game, that is a tough one, man. The Avs are really good. They've won 23 of they're 23-4-4 on home ice. And the Oilers, hey, they got a day off today. They should gain a little confidence from their game yesterday, but it's only one game. I'm not going to sit here and say the Oilers are good defensively consistently yet because of one game, but you have to start somewhere, and we'll see if they can continue it tomorrow against Colorado. It is the Gregor Show, is always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, casino, live dealer, lottery, instance, all in one place, including sports. PlayAlberta.ca. As we get now to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction, and they are hiring. If you're looking for not just a job, but a career opportunity with lots of great opportunities to be promoted from within, show great work ethic, good attitude, apply today, gsconstruction.ca, and look up careers. As Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, how you doing?
Awesome, man. Sitting here in Denver, waiting for a hockey game tomorrow night. I guess the Nuggets are playing OKC. That'll be dominating the sports bars tonight. So maybe I'll become an NBA fan. What do you think about that?
Buddy, that is a hell of a game tonight between the Thunder and I know. I just noticed they announced that Murray's going to play tonight. So that's big news if you're a Denver Nuggets fan. So Spec, you know what? Maybe you should go try to see if you get a press pass for the game, because it'd be worth it. I'm telling you, that's 2 of the best.
I think it's in OKC, isn't it?
Was it in OKC? Oh, okay. I thought you said it was in Denver. Oh, that's different. You're not going to travel all the way to OKC, but
I might travel to a sports bar. How about that?
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Get in with the locals. Wear your Expos hat. That would be good.
Sir.
The Oilers last night, but pretty solid game. They got a few breaks. Number one, a broken stick that helped them with the 3rd goal, and like an offside review that saved just an ugly goal. And who knows? Sometimes you need some breaks to things to go your way, but they got a few breaks last night that really helped.
They did, for sure. They got some. I think if we're going to talk about the breaks, and I wrote about that in my column today, you got to also say I think they hit 3 or 4 posts and crossbars.
Yeah.
So they beat that goalie a number of times with pucks that somehow stayed out. So those are breaks that you didn't get. How about that? I think we should add those in. But in the end, listen, it's some people believe this and some don't. I'm a firm believer that when you earn your breaks, you get your breaks. And when you play better, something falls your way rather than falls the other way. It goes posting in instead of posting out. The offside review goes your way instead of the other guy's way. And I would say to you last night, they played a very solid hockey game. Ingram coughed up the only mistake he made in the game was the one on the offside challenge. The rest of the time he was awesome. So he earns a break. The team earns a break. And they were, I like their game, man. We've been harping on them to have a game where they allow 2 goals or less. And that's what they delivered on the road in a tough building.
Yep. No, it's a huge game, especially because you won in regulation against the team you're chasing. And now you got 18 games left. You do play Vegas 2 more times. You're 2 points back. You hold the tiebreaker because you have 2 more regulation wins than Vegas. So the Edmonton Oilers have put themselves in a pretty good spot, Spec. And I know you're in Vegas. You talk to them like Vegas Golden Knights are on a little bit of a funk here. They've only won ones in their last 6 games. Mark Stone's on IR. We don't know when he's coming back. Like, things aren't rosy. Vegas is very open to be overtaken.
Oh, for sure. They're getting 0 goaltending. They don't like Aiden Hill there one bit. It is not going great. And I mean, last night he was average, I would say to you. And again, that was a couple of posts and crossbars away from being a 6-2 game instead of just a 4-2 game. So that's where it starts. Rasmus Anderson can't catch it on there somehow. His game hasn't been any good. Podkolzin blew him away last night on his goal. You know what? Like, listen, if I'm Vegas, like, they go in the dressing room, it's 1-1 after 2. And they come out and it's like, okay, this is a big swing period in the season, right? Like, that's a big period of hockey, man. Between those 2 teams, it's 1-1 after 2. And 2 minutes and 34 seconds into the third period, Podkolzin blows past both the defensemen, scores a goal that just trickles over the line on Hill. And, the Oilers won that third period. That's my point. Edmonton walked into your building, won that third period, walked out with your girlfriend and the 2 points. If I'm Vegas, I'm not loving that much.
No. Yeah, like the Rasmus Anderson to me is like, it's stunning how average, really, if we're being honest, probably how below average spec he has looked since joining Vegas.
Yeah, you tell me why, right? He's an Olympic level player. He was an excellent player in Calgary. And, I mean, I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. I guess if I'm looking for answers, I'm thinking about the difference between the teams. The guy hasn't played on a competitive team for a couple of years here, right? He didn't play much at the Olympics, but I mean, so did some other guys not play much at the Olympics. I guess maybe moving from Calgary to Vegas and notching her up into a more competitive level is a challenge for him. I'm really not sure what it is. It's making Rasmus Anderson not look like the guy that wore red and yellow down at Calgary.
Yeah, like he's being outscored 20-11. And you mentioned like Podkolzin. Podkolzin blew right by those guys on that play.
And you know what? As Bruce Cassidy said after the game, Vegas head coach, he didn't say this, but I'm going to paraphrase. Like, obviously Podkolzin had a burst of speed that I don't even know that I thought he had. Okay. He had a great burst of speed. But what Cassidy said was, he said, their guy was on his toes. Our guys weren't on their toes. They weren't ready for the play. Someone like Lauzon one of those 2 guys should have stepped into the lane a hell of a lot earlier than they did. And once Podkolzin got even with them, now it's a foot race and it's over. They took the penalty before the puck went in. But I think more concerning than the foot speed aspect, Jay, is at that point in the game, those 2 defensemen were sleepwalking off that faceoff, and Podkolzin wasn't. And that's how that goal got scored.
Yeah. And hey, speaking of Podkolzin, I wrote about him today at Oilers Nation. And had some interesting quotes from both the GM and the head coach on him. And like, you look at Podkolzin spec, and you go back, and that trade happened on August 18th. It was for a 4th round pick in the upcoming 2025 draft. And then the day of that draft spec, they actually got the pick back when they traded Evander Kane to Vancouver. And so that exact pick, and then they took Lewandowski with that pick. But Podkolzin is one of only 5 players in the NHL who has $1 million AAV and has 15 or more goals 5-on-5.
Wow.
And
good.
Yeah. And so and the other thing is, I was really comparing him, because stylistically, he reminds me a lot like Zach Hyman, straight line player, never questions work ethic. Like, he's just a dog on a bone, works really hard. some might think he's not the most, super talented shooter, but I will say I've seen him work. Like, look at that goal he scored against Carolina, man. Like, he's starting to score some goals that are just like well-placed shots. And, his numbers this year, 5-on-5, are virtually identical to Hyman when it comes to goals per 60 and points per 60. And overall, I look at, like, he's only 24. He's not an old player. Like, Zach Hyman at 24 years of age is in his first full season in the NHL, scoring 10 goals.
Right.
And then, and then he improved and improved. And then I got to Edmonton and he really improved. And I look at Podkolzin's spec, and I'm not saying he's going to score 54 goals because that's hard to do. But could Podkolzin not be the future Zach Hyman for the Edmonton Oilers? Be your net front presence on the power play, chip in 5-on-5 and just be a dogged worker. And because he's got the next 3 years at only $2.9 million, which looks like that'll be a bargain contract.
That looks like that's going to be a killer contract. Yeah. Hey, I'm a huge believer in not limiting. As long as I see a player continuing to go north, like Podkolzin's game is, I'm not going to put a limit on that guy. Like, I'm not going to say 15 goals can't turn into 30 one day. I'm also, I'm not a guy that predicts 50 goal scorers. Like, you got to score 50.
Yes.
And then you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to look at a kid and say, that kid's going to score 50. I'm not saying that. But I'll tell you what, 15 could sure turn into 30. And every tool, right? He's got every tool. And he's also got the most important tool, which is his brain. Like, he knows, he's smart. He knows how hard he has to work and should work and wants to work. He doesn't leave anything on the table. I love his, the way he skated through Theodore, who was trying to slow him down at the boards there last night. Is just a example of what a powerful skating, big, strong, heavy player he is. He's got a lot of attributes, man. Got a lot of attributes, and I know it's killing everyone in Vancouver knowing that they had this guy and let him go, but he's not. No one around here is letting that guy go anytime soon, I would think, Jay.
No. Trent Frederick, it's 6 games. It's the best 6 games he's had in a row as an Oiler. It's not even close. He's got 2 goals in 6 games. He's winning maybe he's won more battles in these 6 games than maybe did prior to the Olympic break. And I'm not even being facetious when I say that. But, man, he's looked like the player they hoped they were getting. It's come a little bit later, but it's come at the right time.
Hey, give him credit. Like, what a terrible first 55 games or whatever it was. Like, and then the Olympic break, and he goes away, and instead of just sulking or whatever, like, whatever he's done or however he's looked at this challenge or however he's skinned the cat here, he's come out of the Olympic break and given himself a new breath of life, right? He's a better player, a new player, a fresh start, and call it whatever you want. Listen, a season like that can bury a guy. It's easy to say, man, it's just not working. And I mean, hell, Mangiapane fell out of the top 6 and asked for a trade, right? He didn't stick with it. So give Frederick tons of credit for not being defeated. And I'm not blaming anyone else. It's his game that defeated him. He wasn't any good. Put that on the record. But he wasn't defeated. He came out of the break, and he's really, really laid down the kind of game, like you just said, that we've been looking for a long time. He got some minutes last night. He got almost 12 minutes. And you know what? I think as we go here, Jay, and I'm writing this right now about the file, I think as we go here, we're the acquisition of Dickinson and Doc, I think there's a push here to try to go back to being a little bit more of a 4-line team. And we all know that makes you better. You and I are on the same page on that one.
Yeah, 100%. Let's look quickly, Spec, to the other things around the NHL that's going on. The Tampa Bay Buffalo game. I don't know if you were watching it where you were before. A whole bunch of it. Oh my goodness, that was the game of the year. It had everything: 15 goals, comebacks galore, fights galore, intensity, emotion. It was to me, it was fantastic. And I look at where the Sabres are now from where they even were on December 1st. Like, it's wild. Like, the Sabres were dead last after 25 games in the Eastern Conference, dead last, and now they're almost in first. They're just slightly behind Carolina. They've caught Tampa Bay. And, now they're standing up for each other. And they didn't even have Logan Stanley in the lineup. Like, this is this is a team that suddenly I'm like, God, I got to really watch the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just going to say. Like when they're on now, you know, on center ice or whatever, you want to watch Buffalo. When's the last time we said that? I really love, like, I'm happy for, first of all, the fans out there, because they've been through it, man. And anyone in Edmonton knows, you thought the decade of darkness was long. How about 14 years out of the playoffs? So good for those fans. It's a killer good hockey market. But, you know, Darlene was saying after the game, like how much fun it is to finally have something here, to finally have found some traction. He says, we've been here working at this thing and losing, and it hasn't, you know, we haven't been able to get any traction for so long. I mean, Eichel goes, Reinhart goes, all kinds of guys got put through that ringer and spit out the other end around the NHL. And Darlene was saying, man, here we are. We just beat a really good team 8-7. We stood up for each other. We scored a bunch of goals. It was, oh my God, 15 goals in 5 fights. It might be the game of the year in the NHL. I'm happy for all the people around that organization that have suffered for so long. It's a nice story. And you know what? If it goes the way it looks like it's going to go, and Tampa and Buffalo play in the second round of the playoffs, man, watch out. That's going to be appointment viewing.
Oh, buddy, they're meeting April 7th in Buffalo again. Trust me, that's a game many of us are going to be watching for sure. Yeah. Because there was nothing. You know what I like about it is there's no, like, well, Scott Sabrin's the one guy who doesn't play a ton. And he's pretty tough, and I give Sam Carrick boatloads of credit for fighting him. But you know, like when you have Colleen and Hagel and a lot of these other guys, they're not fighters, but they're standing up for each other. Like, man, it's team unity, and it was awesome to see.
Yeah, and Carrick's tough, man. He's a small guy, and he is so tough. He fights everybody. But yeah, fun to see. Like, it's just, again, it's the market. You know, I grew up like when I was a kid, and you too, you know, on May Day. And I mean, I remember the French Connection, and I remember Buffalo playing Boston, and then the winner would have to get killed by Montreal. But like, it's just, there's a great history there. There's a great history of hockey in Buffalo. And it's really been, we haven't noticed it for about 15 years, and now it's back. And the league is a better place. The league's a better place when Buffalo's got something going on.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
Colorado tomorrow. Ingram, I assume, is going to get the start. Any update on Henrique and how long you think he's out?
No, not at all. He was a game time decision last night. I talked to him. He's walking around, wasn't limping. I think he could, you know, listen, you never know, but it's not a long-term thing for sure. He could well play tomorrow or in one of the games coming up on this trip. Szymanski acquitted himself pretty well last night. I really like Dickinson. Man, I like Dickinson in the game. And I guess I'd ask you, like, if you have Dickinson and you're spreading things out a little bit here, Connor McDavid still killed a bunch of penalties last night. Do you keep Connor McDavid on your PK for much longer? Personally, I do not.
I think he will be on it. I think he'll be on your third unit. I think it's going to be Dickinson and Kapanen, and it's going to be Henrique and Savoy, and then it's going to be McDavid and Nugent Hopkins, and, you know, kind of how they mix in. And like, you look at Dickinson, right? Like, look at how many minutes he took on it. Like, he was getting 2 shifts sometimes. They're going him. Now, Henrique was out, so that probably plays a part in it, because Henrique and Savoy have been a very good tandem on the penalty kill. So, you know, I like the Kapanen's doing it. He's not on the power play. That keeps him in the game more. And I think when healthy, he's been very good. For the order, he's big, he's fast, he's smart. So, yeah, if you can take McDavid, but McDavid's numbers, he's a pretty good penalty killer. So if he's getting the last 30 seconds every now and then, I don't mind that at all.
Last 30 seconds. Last night, he was the second most behind Dickinson among Edmonton forwards in killing penalties. So that's not just the last 30 seconds. My only thing is, particularly as we get going here down the stretch in big games, in my books, guys who kill PKs have got to sell out and block shots. That's how you have a good PK, is guys are selling out and blocking shots. I don't want McDavid selling out and blocking shots if I'm the coach of this team.
Yeah, nope. That's probably fair. I'd have to look and see just how many shot blocks they actually have. So,
you can look it up, but I'll tell you what, I know my visual and my eye test when the Oilers were on that massive streak in the playoffs a couple of years ago. Yeah. They barely got a shot through to the net on that group.
Right. So the D-men are eating pucks for sure. A lot more than the forwards per se. But I trust me. I'm not gonna argue that McDavid should be on the penalty kill a ton. If he's in your third pair because his numbers are good, I have no problem with it. But Dickinson was acquired to be a main guy. He's there. Murphy's there now, which is good. And I think, run them as a foursome with Murphy, Nurse, Dickinson, and Kapanen. They can start a lot of them. Because, heck, I'd say this, Spec. If you can find a way to get your top unit power play always out on the power play to start, you can find a way to get your 4 penalty killers out on the penalty kill to start more often.
Good point by you, Jay.
Yeah. So, there we go. Spec, have a good one. We'll chat with you tomorrow from Colorado.
All right. Sounds good, man.
There you go. That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. We'll come back. We'll get to our stats of the day. We got Cam Tate, the 2-minute morning, and more on the Gregor Show here on Sports 1440.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Mr. Rooter kinda speaks French.
Je m'appelle Monsieur Rooter. Je suis plombier.
Très bien, Mr. Rooter. Your name is Mr. Rooter, and you are in fact a plombier. A plumber. You are an excellent student.
Au contraire, mon frère. Je suis un excellent étudiant. Also, I'm not here for a French lesson. I'm here because someone clogged up the toilets.
Ah, oui, right this way.
For a plumber who speaks your language, call Mr. Rooter.
I'm tired of waking up tired.
Waking up tired.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
Get the lowdown with Low Tide. Weekdays from noon to 2 on Sports 1440. He's seen it all and then some. From stats to stories, he breaks it down like no one else. Proud to be Edmonton's sports leader. Sports 1440.
Budget 2026 is focused on what matters to Central Alberta, like 10 new school projects for a total of 27 underway, redeveloping Red Deer Regional Hospital and investing in more rural family physicians, expanding trades education at Olds College and upgrading facilities at Lakeland College, twinning Highway 11 and expanding Red Deer Regional Airport, all while keeping taxes low and growing the economy. For more details, visit alberta.ca/budget. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Start thinking spring road trips and off-road trips in your new Subaru Crosstrek. Stylish, rugged, and so many features. Standard on every Crosstrek. Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, EyeSight driver assist technology, heated seats, and LED steering responsive headlights. Plus, with interest rates from 0.99%, you'll love the affordable weekly payments. No waiting, immediate delivery available. Subaru Crosstrek. Visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. How you doing? I'm Jason Gregor alongside Connor Halley. As always, The Gregor Show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the action, casino, live dealer, lottery, instance, sports at Alberta's only regulated online gambling website, where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. Looking at a few numbers, because I want to get to our stats of the day, brought to you by All-Star Construction, founded in 2009. They specialize in directional drilling, hydrovacing, neighborhood renewal projects, installing new street lighting systems, and more. That is All-Star Construction. And we have some numbers to a crunch with you too. First of all, we're going to start with Vasily Podkolzin. And Vasily Podkolzin is having himself a great season. It's a career year so far for him. Now he's only 24. So, when you're young, you're hoping that, every few years you continue to improve offensively and have a career year. Like I guess if you score 50 goals at 20, that'd be awesome. But you would think that maybe he could get 50 again. Podkolzin's not there yet, but he did score 14 goals as a rookie. And you know what? There was a lot of promise there, but it didn't pan out. Then he spent the next year split between the AHL and the NHL. The following year split between the AHL and the NHL. And the Vancouver Canucks essentially said, you know what? We don't think he's a player. And they basically gave up on him. He was a 10th overall pick in 2019 and was traded to the Edmonton Oilers 5 years later for a 4th-round draft pick. Now, the Oilers actually got that draft pick back when they traded Evander Kane for Vancouver at the 2025 draft, oddly enough. The exact same pick in the 4th round. So Podkolzin, right, he's played 5 years of pro hockey in North America. 2 of them split between the NHL and the AHL, mainly in the AHL. And then this is his 3rd full season in the NHL. He now has 15 goals. He has 14 assists. So he needs 3 more assists to set a new mark in assists. He's already set a new career high in points with 29. He's got a career high in penalty minutes with 51. He's had a really good year. All 15 of his goals have come 5-on-5. He's one of only 5 players in the NHL who makes $1 million or less and has scored 15 goals 5-on-5. He's tied for 37th amongst all players in the league. Mikko Rantanen, Kirill Marchenko. Those are the guys, like, some really good scores at 15 goals. McDavid and Draisaitl have the team lead, and they're at 16. Podkolzin's at 15. He's having himself a really good year. So the question is, what's the future hold for a guy like Podkolzin? When you look at the style of player, his strength, he's a very straight-ahead player. Work ethic, never a problem. Now, the one thing Podkolzin really works on in practice is his shooting. Look at that goal he scored against Carolina. He had a very small window from basically the goal line, and he put it right over Bussey's shoulder. It's a hell of a shot, right? We've seen him one time the puck. Scored on a breakaway the other day. He's starting to round his game with lots of different ways to score. Now, it helps that Leon Draisaitl loves playing with him, and they have success. You get to play with Leon Draisaitl, you're going to put yourself in a good opportunity to score at some point. But not everybody does it. And so I look at him, and I'm like, geez, Zach Hyman at the age of 24, you know what he was doing? He had 10 goals, 6 of them at 5-on-5 that year. And then the next few years, he scored 21 and 15 and 21. Could Podkolzin become a 20-goal scorer? Yeah, I think that's very doable. But what if he starts to get a little power play time? When is there the transition of Podkolzin and Hyman potentially as the net front presence guy? Remember, Kane and Hyman used to split it on the number 1 unit. Maybe Podkolzin does. So the potential of where he could go here is pretty positive. Now, the difference is, you mentioned, I told you there was 5 players who are making $1 million or less who have scored 15 goals 5-on-5 or more. Here's the other guys: Macklin Celebrini, Cutter Gauthier, Oliver Kapanen, and Beckett Seneca out of Anaheim. Now, all those guys are going to be getting big raises because they're all coming out of their entry-level contracts, either this summer or next summer. Podkolzin's already got his next contract. It's $2.9 million. Now, Kapanen might come in around that, but Celebrini's probably going to be at 10 now. And I like Celebrini. He's a really hell of a player. I'm not comparing the two. Cutter Gauthier. So all I'm saying is you look at Podkolzin and his contract goes up to 2.9. These guys are going to be up to $7, $8, $9, $10 million. Kapanen's next deal is already locked in. I see nothing that tells me that this is a one-off and that Podkolzin is not a guy who I'm looking at to say, hey, when the season starts, this guy's a 20-goal scorer for me. And maybe it's a 25 and maybe it's a 30-goal scorer. I don't know. But at $2.9 million, he is going to be a value contract for quite some time in the NHL. Some other stats to look for, and we uncovered this one just kind of by fluke and by accident. But as I was talking about the Buffalo Sabres earlier, but how about Zach Metza? If you like obscure stats of the day, tell your friends this one. He hasn't been on the ice for a goal against at 5-on-5 since October 24th. 30 straight games. Now, he doesn't dress every night for the Sabres, but still, he's number 6 to 7 defenseman, plays 12 minutes a night, and has not been on the ice for a goal against. He's been on the ice for 15 goals for, none against. Trying to find out what the record is for consecutive games played without being on the ice for a goal against 5-on-5. That, to me, is pretty darn impressive. Other things, since we've turned the calendar to 2026, the Buffalo Sabres, best record in the NHL, they are 18-5-2. The next best record in the league, the Hurricanes. Then you got the Bruins, Tampa Bay, Utah. Don't sleep on the Mammoth. 16-6-1 in this calendar year. At the other end of it, oof. The Vancouver Canucks, trust me, they've done a great job at locking down the number 1 spot in the draft lottery. They are 3-16-5. Next closest to them are the Rangers, who are 5-12-3. And the Flames are 7-12-3. And the Flames tonight are already off to a tough start. They trail the Capitals 2-0 in the first half of the first period as Lapierre scored, and then Tom Wilson buried his 24th of the season. For the Edmonton Oilers, some stats. Good news. Let's focus on the good news. The Oilers didn't allow 3 goals in a game for only the second time in their last 13 games. The other one, of course, is when they spanked the Kings 8-1. So, hey, the Oilers, if they could just play Pacific Division teams more often. Now, I know that's not true because Anaheim lit them up for 5 goals a few times. But the Oilers, maybe, just maybe, it is a step in the right direction by limiting the opposition to only 2 goals. Because the Oilers, in the calendar year of 2026, goals against, not great. Sitting 23rd at 3.43, and even uglier if we want to go out of the Olympic break. They've pretty much been right near the bottom of the NHL in that regard at goals against. Actually, that 2-gamer got them back down to 4. So they're actually, LA's at 4.14, Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver. God, the Canadian teams, we're really the givers right now when it comes to goals against. The best defensive team out of the Olympic break. I'll give you one guess, Connor Hall, if you can nail it. One team that has allowed the fewest goals against per game since the Olympic break.
I want to say Buffalo, but they gave up 7.
Yeah, it's not the Sabres.
Winnipeg.
No. The Winnipeg Jets are actually 3rd. That was a good guess. They are 3rd. But how about the St. Louis Blues? I probably could have given you 10 guesses. You wouldn't have guessed them because I wouldn't have either. But the Blues have only allowed 9 goals in their 6 games. So the Oilers take them on Friday. So don't sleep on the Blues as just going to be an easy out. Suddenly, they're defending. They're goaltenders. Both of them have played quite well since coming out of the Olympic break. Now it's a little too late for them, but Hofer has played 4 games in that time, and he's been outstanding. He's kind of taken over as a starter. That'll be something to watch for. But even Binnington's played 2 games, has a .930 save percentage. Hofer's played 4, and he's only allowed 4 goals and 105 shots. He's got a .962 save percentage and a 1.0 GAA. So just some numbers to watch for. You know who's second in goals allowed? The Dallas Stars. So the Oilers take on the Avs, the Stars, and the Blues this week. It will not be easy. We'll come back with Camp Tate. That was our stats of the day, brought to you by All Star Construction. We'll return. It's the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, hon, I'm getting expressions and images to frame my hockey card collection in the man cave.
Perfect. I'll come with you and bring our wedding photos. For sports memorabilia and family treasures, think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
Want to invest in Alberta's workforce, fill your talent pipeline, and get funding? Careers, the next generation connects employers with motivated, pre-vetted youth through funded internships. Easy, impactful, and risk-free.
When you work with a group like Careers who have experience in that area, they can demystify and navigate all the complex steps and stakeholders that have to be involved.
Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Action Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy, designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
NHL Star Sticks are back at McDonald's, and we're celebrating by going bigger.
Make that smaller, way smaller than ever before.
Collect the set and get one of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal. Featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, Makar, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeau. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, jersey barriers, and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Commissioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Heavy Truck Auction is this Thursday at 9 a.m. with tandem and single axle trucks, including tractors, decks, dumps, man lifts, plows, vacs, pickers, refuse, and shunt trucks, plus more. Info at maauctions.com.
Every goal, every Selly. The place to cheer on your favorite team is Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge. Never a bad seat in the house with all games on tons of big screens. And Selly's menu, top shelf. Plus, check out the game night food and drink features. And don't miss the excitement of Oilers watch parties all season long. Experience Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations. Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Every day is game day at Century Casino.
Commissioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Heavy Truck Auction is this Thursday at 9 a.m. with tandem and single axle trucks, including a special dispersal of 3 unused 2024 Kenworth T880 tandem cab and chassis trucks. Info at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers' push to the playoffs is on, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings and play, score and win every game. See more at OnTheRocksYEG.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Let's get set to wrap. We get set to wrap things up on a Monday afternoon. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely day. let's get to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change, no overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town, over 45 years that Tater has been around. Cam, of course, born with cerebral palsy. He's been in a wheelchair. Has never let him slow him down. Never afraid to tackle any sort of hurdle, literally or figuratively. And Cam's always wanted to be in radio. And now, through the wonders of technology, his words come to life in the 2-minute warning.
Boris Rybalka knows a party when he sees one. And right now, it's happening on the ice. Canada's para-hockey team is tearing it up in Milan, and rookie defenseman Oren Halbert is the guest of honor. The coach calls this his coming out party. You better believe it. Get this. Halbert, just 23 and already making history, scored a goal in Canada's 8-0 romp over Slovakia. Then he exploded for a 7-point night as Canada crushed Japan 14-0 Monday. 4 goals, 3 assists. Not bad for a guy who was one of the final cuts before Beijing. Most people would have hung up their skates. Not Halbert. Born without a femur, he just worked harder, fought back, and now he's stealing the show. Looks unstoppable. Canada, 2 games, 22 goals for, 0 against. The defense, like a vault, just 4 shots allowed over 2 games. Goalie Corbin Watson made sure Japan never even got started with a huge save right out of the gate. Canada outshot Japan 56-2. Captain Tyler McGregor set the tone, scoring 39 seconds in. 7 players found the back of the net. This team is rolling. Remember Vancouver 2010 when Japan beat Canada and broke hearts? Not this time. The red and white have turned the tables in a big way. Now, all eyes are on Czechia, who just thumped Slovakia. Last time these teams met, Canada won 6-1. The next game promises fireworks. Coach Rybalka says his squad loves the physical play. They'll go toe-to-toe, no problem. Only bump in the road, veteran Greg Westlake left the last game hurt. But with the way Canada's playing, they're still the team to beat. Keep it locked right here, because Team Canada is playing on another planet. Now the shameless plug. For more on the story, please read my Edmonton Sun column, Tomorrow, Game 3 versus Czechia, or, as Rybalka says, another Game 7. 2-minute warning, Gregor, Hallie, Kruger, and me, Cam Tate. Sports 1440.
Well, there you go, man. Let's see Canada get a gold in hockey. We don't care what kind of hockey it is. We just need another gold. So good luck, Paralympic team. I like it. We got a lot of texts coming in. Hey guys, and you know, this comes in from Lance and TJ and Dan, and probably I can't even list them all, but everybody's like, hey guys, what's this Tristan Jarry fight? Okay. Elliot Friedman knows a lot of stuff, but he must have got some bad intel. I can tell you 100% there was zero ever any sort of physical altercation involving Tristan Jarry and one of his teammates. Nothing ever happened. Okay. Did a teammate ask him to practice better? Yes. Why that's a big story, I'm not sure. Right? I talked about it last week. I said, man, I've been in practice. I've never seen a goalie get beat that often. Yeah. It happens. You want to be better. So that's all that happened. There's no, you know, you could have guys can, hey man, you need to be better. Get your game on. Right? That'll happen in practice. And that's what this was. So, I'd have to listen to it. I didn't listen to it. I saw the wording of it. There was no fight. There might have been a verbal challenge. Hey, get your head in the game. You got to be better in practice. Okay. I didn't hear it specifically. I watched the practice, saw someone skate by him, and I don't know what was said, but it wasn't anything that saw the goalie all of a sudden like run after the guy and be mad. So, yes, there is no actual fight. Nothing physical, no physical altercation between Jarry and any of his teammates. So everybody can stand down. There was no fight to be had. Okay. So there you go. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Greg's earlier, Strez made a really good point about people with a smile on their face. I haven't seen McDavid smile a lot this season. Not that I'm overthinking it. Well, McDavid's not Mr. Smiley either, right? But I've seen him smile sometimes. But keep in mind, this season hasn't gone well for the Oilers. But I've seen McDavid smile. I think McDavid, see now, Trent Frederick wasn't smiling, but Trent Frederick also wasn't playing very well. Connor McDavid leads the league in scoring. I think Connor McDavid has been all right. Okay, like he might be frustrated at the results of the team. I'm not sure he's overly like frustrated with his personal results. I'm sure he has a high standard where he'd say, hey, maybe he'd want a few more goals, but he's on pace to score 130 points. I'd have to double check. Is he on pace for 1.7 times 19? Yeah, no, not at 140, but still 130. Like that's pretty good. You know how many 100-point seasons or 130-point seasons McDavid's had in his career? 2. He had 153 in 23, and then he had 132 in 24. And then right now he's on pace for about 137, I think it is. So, yeah, he's like when we were talking about smiling and Trent Frederick, like he had zero confidence. I don't think McDavid has really been that lacking in confidence. Hey, guys, man, did Evander Kane's stock absolutely crater from Morgan. Yeah. Well, but you see his GM even said, hey, like there was no one was interested in Evander Kane. Well, because he's a $5.125 million player. So even at 50%, it's just above 2.5, like 2.55. So, he's got 11 goals, 27 points. It's just been okay. Like Evander Kane will get a contract in the summer. I have no doubt in my mind. He turns 35 in August. And so I look now, would he qualify if he signs after that? He'd qualify for an incentive-related contract, would he not? Because he'd be 35 by the time the season starts. So maybe he gets one of those contracts. Sometimes reality can be hard for a lot of us, right? All of a sudden reality hits and he's like, damn. Like Evander Kane for a long time was a unicorn. There wasn't a lot of guys who had skill and the tenacity and the toughness of Kane who could skate, right? He could do a lot of things really well, unlike a lot of players in the league, and he had value. But that hasn't been there, right? But even last year, he didn't play in the regular season, right? So comes back from a pretty significant injury, did play in the playoffs, and 6 goals in the playoffs. The year before, he had only 4. So 6 and 21 isn't awful, right? Like that's prorate that. It's 22 goal regular season. Not awful. So I still think Kane will have some value, but where Kane's value is going to come in is probably going to be in his AAV. He's not going to get, I don't think he's going to get close to $5 million from somebody. He might get 3. It'd only be 2.5. So we'll see. But he's going to have to play better. He's probably going to have to get in a little bit better shape. And we'll see where it goes. But teams will give him a contract. I have no doubt in my mind. I'll be curious about term and what the AAV is. So, hey, guys, the Oilers have 13 of 18 against playoff teams. What's a realistic expectation to finish the season? Well, they do have that, but they also have a lot of games at home, right? This road trip is the tough part because you have Dallas and you have Colorado. And even St. Louis isn't bad. So when I look at the Oilers and say, okay, so who's the team? So they got their next 2 games are against playoff teams, but then they play 4 games in a row that aren't playoff teams, right? St. Louis, San Jose, Florida, Nashville. That's a good run where you got to win. You got to win some games, right? No question. Also, I think your math is incorrect. 8 of their remaining games of 18 are against non-playoff teams, not 13, right? So it's 10 versus playoff teams, 8 against non-playoff teams. The Sharks aren't in the playoffs. The Kings currently aren't in the playoffs either. So just keep that in mind. But they're close to it, but they're not playoff teams. So it's 8 and 10. I think the Oilers 18 games. I think to win the division, they probably have to, I would say, maybe win 12. Now, Vegas, I know Vegas is a playoff team, but they've dominated Vegas. They've won 8 of their last 9. They should win at least one of those games against Vegas and maybe 2. Right? Will Colorado have anything to play for when they come to Edmonton on the 13th of April? We don't know, but they might have nothing. Maybe they'll rest Makar and McKinnon. We'll see. But I would say Edmonton's got to win. Well, not has to, but if you want to win the division, I'd say 12. Is it possible? We'll see. Hey, Greg's, anytime you get highly competitive athletes together, things aren't going the way they want, arguments are bound to happen. Unless it turns into Miller versus Elias Pettersson, there's little to worry about. They'll sort things out for Morgan. Bingo. Morgan, I totally agree. I think people here fight, and I just think that was misrepresented. There was zero physical altercation between Tristan Jarry and any of his teammates, right? And guess what? If guys get in an argument, that's a good thing. Arguments happen all the time. Tomorrow, we will talk about McKinnon. Could Nathan McKinnon, should he be up for the Selke Trophy? Well, we'll crunch some numbers tomorrow that might make you go, We'll discuss that. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. This has been Sports 1440, the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Let's get to the con, man. Sports 1440 update brought to you by Go Auto. If you're looking for a vehicle, there's only one place to go. GoAuto.ca with over 15,000 vehicles to choose from. GoAuto.ca. Good night.
The Sports 1440 update.
5 games on the NHL schedule today. One final as the Kings beat the Blue Jackets 5-4 in overtime. After 20 minutes, Flyers at home trail the Rangers 3-0, while the Capitals have a 3-0 lead over the Flames. Later tonight, Mammoth take on the Blackhawks and the Sens in Vancouver. In the association, second quarter action, Cavs up on the Sixers 41-27, and it's early, but the Nuggets lead the Thunder 21-8. 7 minutes left in the first quarter. Later on in the evening, you got the Jazz and the Warriors and the Knicks in LA taking on the Clippers. NFL's legal tampering period has begun for free agents. Wide receiver Alec Pierce stayed with the Colts, signing a 4-year extension worth $116 million. Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker III heading to Kansas City on a 3-year deal worth $45 million. The Miami Dolphins releasing quarterback Tua Tagovailoa and giving Malik Willis a 3-year deal worth $67 million. Tua heading to Atlanta on a 1-year contract. The Panthers giving edge rusher Jalen Phillips a 4-year contract worth over $120 million, while the Titans signing former Broncos defensive end John Franklin Myers to a 3-year deal worth $63 million. Mike Evans, a longtime Buck, heading to San Fran on a 3-year contract. In the AJ, Grand Prairie taking on Devon, puck drop at 7, and the Paralympic Games, Canada's sledge hockey team beating up on Japan 14-0. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Up next, we've got Fox Sports Radio. Live local coverage resumes tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. with Kevin Carius. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Tree.